The male lead has a face exactly like mine, but I am the heir to the wealthiest family, while he is just a C-list celebrity. To prove he wasn't inferior to me, he chose to seduce my fiancée, preparing to secretly cause trouble at my wedding. But before they could act, I was one step ahead and announced the cancellation of the wedding. After the 4 words "wedding is cancelled" were spoken, the entire hall erupted. What's going on? Weren't he and Miss Yang childhood sweethearts with a very good relationship? The Yang family has really lost everything this time. Amidst the gossip and ridicule, Yang Yuting's face darkened as she walked onto the stage and shouted, "Zhang Chen, do you know what day it is today? Are you crazy?" The crowd below immediately started murmuring, "Look at that attitude. She deserves to have the engagement called off. He's the heir to the wealthiest family, after all. Does Yang Yuting think she's scolding one of her family's servants?" Old Master Jiang's face grew even darker. That girl from the Yang family dares to be so arrogant right in front of him. Who knows what she's like behind his back? Yang Yuting didn't want to marry me, only because of the pressure from her grandfather. But when I announced the cancellation, her first reaction was to refuse. Very quickly, Yang Yuting told herself the white moonlight of her heart was Zhang Yihan. She was just a little unwilling to accept it. On what grounds? After she had spent years scheming, could Zhang Chen just call off the wedding whenever he wanted? Today is a momentous day for the Zhang and Yang families. The groom is canceling the wedding on the wedding day itself. One can imagine that after today, she would become the laughingstock of the entire North City. A cold, sharp glint flashed in Yang Yuting's eyes. No, this marriage absolutely cannot be cancelled. Perhaps used to being domineering and ordering me around even though the current situation was pressing. When Yang Yuting spoke, it was still in a commanding and scolding tone. "Zhang Chen, can you stop being so willful and causing trouble? Today is the day our 2 families are joined by marriage. If there's anything to discuss, let's wait until after the wedding." Before I could even speak, Old Master Jiang said in a loud, clear voice, "This wedding ends here." After saying that, he gently patted my back to comfort me. Then when he turned to Yang Yuting, his gaze immediately became as sharp as a knife. Yang Yuting was already frightened by his imposing aura, but on second thought, she wasn't the one who suddenly canceled the wedding on the wedding day. Logically, she was the victim. She shed her earlier weak demeanor, taking the moral high ground to speak to Old Master Jiang as an equal. "Grandpa Jiang, Zhang Chen is insisting on canceling the wedding. On such an important day, we can't let him be so willful, can we?" Her tone implied, "You better control your grandson." Old Master Jiang glanced at her, a cold glint appearing in his aged eyes. He spoke with great authority. "I, Jiang Hongtao's grandson, have the right to be willful. He can do whatever he wants." Instantly, the entire banquet hall fell into a deathly silence. Although the old master didn't lift a finger, everyone seemed to hear the sound of a slap landing on Yang Yuting's face. Yang Yuting had had a smooth-sailing life since childhood. Never had she been publicly humiliated like this. She couldn't hold it in and questioned Old Master Jiang. "Are you planning to break ties with our Yang family?" The moment her words fell, this time the sound of a slap truly rang out. Yang Yuting's face was slapped to one side. The one who struck her was none other than her own grandfather, Old Master Yang. Yang Yuting couldn't believe it, clutching her face. "Grandpa." Old Master Yang was so angry his beard trembled, and he slammed his hand on the table. "You still have the nerve to call me grandpa? Hurry up and apologize to your grandpa Jiang." At this moment, Yang Yuting's face was full of grievance, and tears streamed down like a fountain. She turned and ran out of the wedding venue. This sudden turn of events also stunned all the guests. Old Master Yang's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. The banquet hall immediately erupted in an uproar. "Is this wedding still happening or not? The bride has run off. What's there to marry anymore?" The young master of the Jiang family wanted to call it off anyway, so the timing is perfect now. Back then, so many girls were heartbroken when young Master Jiang got engaged. Now the opportunity has come again. I stepped up to the microphone to calm the situation. "Thank you all for coming. I regret to announce the engagement between me and Yang Yuting is hereby cancelled. From now on, we will go our separate ways." After saying that, I left immediately. This wedding of the century that everyone was watching ended just like that, in a dramatic fashion. After the wedding ceremony ended, Old Master Jiang saw that my expression was still normal and felt relieved, laughing as he said, "Jiang Chen, why did you suddenly decide to call off the engagement with that girl from the Yang family?" My face was calm. "I found out she has another man. Before the wedding, she even called to say she was only marrying me for the Jiang family's assets. After gaining your trust, the Yang family would take over the Jiang family and then kick me to the curb." These words were half truth, half lie. I had never heard this phone call, but what Yang Yuting did later was exactly like that. Old Master Jiang angrily slammed the table and stood up. "What? Did that girl from the Yang family really say that?" I nodded decisively, 100% certain. If it were just an affair, I could still tolerate it. But I absolutely cannot tolerate anyone scheming against the Jiang family. Old Master Jiang suppressed his anger. "Jiang Chen, it's all right. Grandpa will definitely make Yang Yuting pay the price." By the end of his sentence, his tone carried a cold, murderous intent. I suddenly shook my head. "Grandpa, just dealing with Yang Yuting alone is useless. In the end, it only treats the symptoms, not the root cause. Actually, I want to start working at the Jiang Corporation." Old Master Jiang was immediately stunned. Jiang Chen, why do you suddenly want to join the company? This reaction was very normal. The original owner of this body was obsessed with painting since childhood and had some fame in the art world. Although old Master Jiang wanted to groom me as his successor, seeing that my ambitions lay elsewhere, he let me pursue my dreams. Jiang Chen, you love painting the most. Grandpa just hopes you do what you want to do. I felt a warmth in my heart. This old man is truly devoted to his grandson. It's a pity the old man couldn't protect me for a lifetime in the end. Otherwise, the Jiang Chen of the previous life wouldn't have met such a tragic end. Grandpa, you can't be with me my whole life. I've made up my mind to take over the company. The old master nodded in satisfaction. The most important thing for me when taking over the company is to deal with this male lead, Zhang Yihan. Elsewhere, Zhang Yihan suddenly shivered, feeling as if someone was secretly watching him. But this feeling of unease was quickly thrown to the back of his mind. Turning around, he looked at the woman in front of him with astonished eyes. Yuting, why are you here? Zhang Yihan had been drowning his sorrows in alcohol in his apartment when Yang Yuting unexpectedly showed up. The two of them were entangled from the door all the way to the bed, until night fell. Afterwards, Zhang Yihan carefully asked, "Isn't today your wedding with Jiang Chen, for you to come here like this?" Before he could finish, he was interrupted by Yang Yuting. "Don't mention him again. We've called off the engagement." Jiang Yihan's eyes lit up. "Really? You're really not marrying him anymore?" A strange feeling flickered in Yang Yuting's heart, but it was quickly suppressed by years of unwillingness. I was the one who suggested calling it off. After a passionate night the next day, Zhang Yihan went to Zhang Corporation's entertainment company in high spirits. At Zhang Corporation's entertainment company, everyone knew that Zhang Yihan had a mysterious backer. He was clearly just a third-rate artist, yet he lived in a company apartment and was chauffeured around in a minivan. Even A-list stars would be envious of this treatment. A few minor artists immediately greeted him respectfully. "Hello, Yihan." Zhang Yihan smiled and nodded in response. He was in a particularly good mood today, so much so that he couldn't even be bothered to pretend. Yang Yuting had finally agreed not to marry that young master of the Zhang family. Just as he stepped out of the elevator, he ran into his manager, Fang Ling. "Hello, Sister Fang." Zhang Yihan smiled gently. Fang Ling's expression was grave. "Jiang Corp has a new CEO. The company is about to undergo a major shakeup. I have to go to the 33rd floor for a meeting." Zhang Yihan indifferently made way. With Yang Yuting backing him, no matter who the new boss was, they couldn't touch him. Just then, Fang Ling smiled mysteriously. "Oh right, there are a few scripts for male lead roles in the lounge. You're about to become an A-list star." Zhang Yihan's eyes lit up, and he excitedly grabbed Fang Ling's arm. "Sister Fang, is it true?" Fang Ling smiled and nodded. Zhang Yihan rushed back to the lounge, eagerly searching for the scripts. He was finally going to play the male lead. A brilliant career path was right before his eyes. 33rd floor conference room, Huangtian building. The senior executives of various departments were whispering, all guessing who the new CEO of Zhang Corporation was. A new dynasty brings new courtiers. Everyone was worried about their own future. At exactly 10 o'clock, the heavy conference room door was slowly pushed open. I walked in with an overwhelming aura. The senior executives were secretly astonished. This new CEO was too young. Quite a few showed disdain on their faces. My gaze swept over everyone, and I spoke lightly. "I am Jiang Chen." 4 simple words caused everyone's expression to change instantly. This was the young master of the Jiang Corporation. Those who had shown disdain just moments ago, the senior executives immediately changed their expressions, smiling brightly. "Hello, young Master Jiang." I crossed my legs. "Here, please call me CEO Jiang." Everyone replied in unison. "Understood, CEO Jiang." I nodded in satisfaction. "Very good. Taking over Jiang Core Entertainment Company was smoother than I thought. This young master status is indeed useful." Fang Ling. When her name was called, Fang Ling's heart skipped a beat. "CEO Jiang, what are your instructions?" I said casually. "You have an artist under you named Zhang Yihan, right?" Fang Ling answered carefully. "Yes, he is 21 years old, has played supporting male roles in a few major films, and is currently a third-rate artist at the company." Hearing this, the corner of my mouth lifted slightly, and I glanced at Fang Ling. What a coincidence, he has the same surname as me. I had investigated this clearly long ago. Zhang Yihan's original manager was not Fang Ling. It was Yang Yuting who pulled strings behind the scenes to get her replaced. Now is the time for things to get back on the right track. Fang Ling couldn't guess what this young master was thinking, so she could only give a neutral assessment. Zhang Yihan's commercial value is not bad, and there's no negative news about him for now. I suddenly dropped my smile. That minor artist with a name similar to mine, I don't like him very much. You know what to do, don't you? Fang Ling's smile froze on her face. "Rest assured, CEO Zhang, I understand." 17th floor, Zhang Yihan was engrossed in reading a script. The resources Fang Ling had chosen for him were not bad. There were Xiangxia, modern urban, and campus youth dramas. Zhang Yihan liked this Xiangxia script the most. The story is about a young man from a small town who stumbles onto the path of cultivation, along with his master, a demon lord, a beast emperor, and other female characters. He experiences complex love-hate relationships. He imagined himself playing the male lead and becoming a star overnight, becoming an A-list star with an endless stream of film contracts and commercials. When Fang Ling pushed the door open and entered, Zhang Yihan was beaming, ready to welcome her. "Sister Fang, you're back! Who's the new CEO?" I've looked at the scripts. Lian Shangxian is very good. Fang Ling interrupted with a deadpan expression. Lian Shangxian can't be given to you. Zhang Yihan's smile froze, and disappointment flashed in his eyes, but he quickly adjusted his emotions. Then this campus youth drama Qing Chun Xing is also fine, Fang Ling interrupted again. That's not for you either. Zhang Yihan's eyes widened. Sister Fang, are you kidding me? Fang Ling let out a cold laugh. Who's kidding you? From today onwards, all of your resources will be revoked and transferred to Qin Yang. This is an announcement, not a negotiation. Zhang Yihan's voice trembled. What? Give all my resources to Qin Yang? Why? Fang Ling coldly dropped a line. Think about who you've offended recently. Zhang Yihan's expression changed abruptly. Could it be? Elsewhere, the CEO's office on the third floor. I lazily spun in my chair and the system's voice sounded in my ear. Save Gu Qingshui. I gave a wicked smirk. This name isn't bad. Asking me to change her fate? Interesting. Let's see how tragic Gu Qingshui's fate is in this life. The Gu Qingshui of this life is a typical villainous female supporting character. As a famous idol, she originally had a brilliant career, but she brought disaster upon herself because the male lead, Zhang Yihan, liked her. But Yang Yuting liked Zhang Yihan, causing Gu Qingshui to be innocently dragged into trouble. Under the suppression of the Yang Corporation, Gu Qingshui quickly became embroiled in scandals, losing all her savings and ending up with a huge debt. What was even more tragic, her seriously ill mother, not wanting to be a burden, pulled out her own oxygen tube and passed away. Suffering from successive blows, Gu Qingshui eventually fell into depression and chose to end her life by slitting her wrists. At the same time, Gu Qingshui pulled down her black baseball cap and walked out of the Zhang Corporation entertainment building. Her manager had just hinted to her that a rich businessman had taken an interest in her. As long as she was willing to make a sacrifice, she could return to the top. The unspoken rules of the entertainment industry are very common. The manager skillfully tempted her. Gu Qingshui left without looking back. Behind her, the manager's furious roar echoed. What are you pretending to be so noble for? After being blacklisted by CEO Yang, sooner or later, you'll come begging me. The girl pressed her pale lips together, tightly clutching the hospital bill. She rushed to the hospital. Arriving at the hospital, Gu Qingshui pushed open the door to the hospital room. Although the woman on the bed was pale, you could still see the beauty of her youth between her brows. Qingshui, you're here. Gu Qingshui hurried forward. Mom, don't move. Let me help you. Mother Gu asked about her daily life. Has work not been busy lately? Why do you come to visit me every day? Gu Qingshui glossed over it lightly. I'm done with the busy period. She didn't want her mother to know about her troubles. The mother and daughter chatted for a while until her mother fell asleep. Gu Qingshui quietly left the room. Just as she closed the door, her phone suddenly vibrated. A private message appeared on a job-seeking app. Nude model wanted. 10,000 yuan per hour. Seeing the words 10,000 yuan per hour, Gu Qingshui, who was short on cash, was tempted. Half an hour later, Gu Qingshui stood before the gate of the Shui Molanting Villa complex. This luxury estate, which she couldn't afford even at the peak of her fame, now made her feel immense pressure. The moment she rang the doorbell, she almost turned and fled. After being boycotted by the entire internet and blacklisted, and even intentionally being prevented from finding a job, she couldn't help but be on high alert. After all, with her looks, many men had designs on her. The villa's gate slowly opened. Contrary to her expectations, the person behind the door wasn't a pot-bellied, middle-aged businessman, but a young woman. Gu Qingshui secretly sighed in relief. Hello, I'm Gu Qingshui, here to apply for the nude model position. The girl's eyes suddenly widened as she pointed at her. Aren't you that big star? I was. Gu Qingshui's voice was calm. Can we start now? The girl quickly waved her hands. I'm not the one who hired you. It's my young master. Please come in. Gu Qingshui followed Xiaolan into the villa. In front of the art studio on the second floor, Xiaolan stopped. The young master said, You can go in by yourself. Xiaolan lowered her voice. Remember, whatever the young master says, you must do it. Absolutely do not question it. Gu Qingshui nodded lightly. After Xiaolan left, she stepped into the art studio. At the same time, a lazy voice sounded out. Take off your clothes. The girl's face immediately flushed red. Take off my clothes? Gu Qingshui panicked and took half a step back. I only came here to be a model, not to do other things. After saying that, she was about to turn and leave. A soft chuckle suddenly came from behind the easel. Gu Qingshui's footsteps halted. What are you laughing at? Gu Qingshui knew she should leave immediately, but she was drawn in by that laughter. The man's lazy voice came from behind the easel. It seems you've misunderstood. When I told you to take off your clothes, I gently twirled the paintbrush in my hand. Miss Gu, do you remember why you came here today? The girl pursed her lips. Nude model. That's right. I put down my paintbrush, my tone carrying a hint of vague teasing. I want to paint your body. Gu Qingshui stood rooted to the spot. The rims of her ears flushed pink. Reason urged her to leave. Her feet felt as if they had taken root. Just then, another soft chuckle came from behind the easel. Very good. From now on, follow my rules. My voice suddenly took on a forceful tone. No questions allowed, understand? The girl blushed and nodded. I suddenly spoke. Turn around. The girl obediently turned around. I'm walking towards you. The sound of footsteps grew closer. Gu Qingshui already knew her employer was a man, she just didn't expect him to be so noble and handsome. I walked back and forth, sizing up Gu Qingshui. As I circled around to her front, Gu Qingshui finally couldn't help but speak. "What are you looking at?" I smirked. "Inspecting the goods, of course. I have to see if you meet the standards." I suddenly moved closer, and Gu Qingshui held her breath. The man's face right in front of her made her blush and her heart race. I looked at her naive reaction and found it amusing. The female supporting character of this life is so innocent. How interesting. "Pretty sister, you seem very nervous." When Gu Qingshui heard the term sister, she was slightly stunned. Ever since being boycotted by the internet and blacklisted by her company, it had been a long time since anyone had called her that. I leaned close to her ear and in a teasing tone, called out again, "Sister, what's wrong?" Gu Qingshui's earlobes immediately turned so red they looked like they would bleed. "I'm not nervous. I'm just a little hot." I gently pinched her burning earlobe. "But your ears are all red." Gu Qingshui grabbed my hand. "Don't just touch my ear whenever you want." I smirked. "I'm not touching it whenever I want. I'm touching it very seriously." Gu Qingshui was momentarily speechless. I waved my hand. "All right, I won't tease you anymore. Now take off your clothes." The air froze for a few seconds. Gu Qingshui knew I just wanted to paint, but this blunt command still made her ears burn. She shyly whispered, "Can you turn away first?" I raised an eyebrow. "You're shy." "I'm not." Gu Qingshui's voice was faint. "I'm just not used to being watched while I undress." I chuckled. "Still say you're not shy? You get this shy just from a few glances? Later I have to paint you without clothes on, which means I'll have to stare at you without blinking. Or should I help you undress? Get you used to it." Gu Qingshui quickly refused. "No thank you." I burst out laughing. Gu Qingshui still couldn't get naked in front of a man. I looked at the clock. "It's now 2:45 in the afternoon. You said the pay was 10,000 yuan per hour." I nodded and said, "That's right. But are you planning to let me paint you like this?" Gu Qingshui's gaze clearly asked back, "What else?" "Of course not like this. Magazine shoots or photographers all require you to pose, to smile for the camera. Are you going to just stand there stiffly for me to paint you?" Gu Qingshui pondered for a moment, then looked at me. "What is the theme of your painting?" I smirked. "Temptation and also desire." Hearing this, Gu Qingshui's expression stiffened. Seduction and desire. Even when facing the camera, she never felt scared or timid. This once famous idol, after hearing me ask her to express these two words, couldn't help but feel awkward. The image the company previously created for Gu Qingshui was that of a cool idol which suited her personality. Gu Qingshui followed the path of a pure and beautiful young maiden, so hearing my words, Gu Qingshui was a little flustered. Even her speech started to stutter. Seeing this, I waved my hand and said to forget it. No need to undress anymore. No need to pose anymore either. It'll just draw you as you are. After speaking, I sat back down at my easel, picked up a paintbrush, and started painting on the canvas. Xiao Hualin Feifei held back for a long time, but finally couldn't resist and appeared. It said in a conflicted tone, "Master, treating the Master God like this isn't very nice." I immediately corrected Xiao Hualin Feifei. Not the Master God, but one of the fragments of the Master God. Xiao Hualin Feifei flapped its wings and said, "That doesn't seem wrong. But Master, that is the Master God. Aren't you afraid that the Master God will come looking for you to settle the score later? What's there to be afraid of?" I raised an eyebrow. Whether she lets me tease her is a matter of her magnanimity, but whether I can successfully flirt with her is a matter of my skill. Aren't all Master Gods supposed to smile mercifully upon all living beings? I'm just teasing a little. I haven't done anything. I probably haven't committed a great unforgivable sin, have I? Master, you only tease but do nothing. You look a lot like a scumbag. While I was happily teasing the Master God's fragment over here, Zhang Yihan wasn't so lucky. Zhang Yihan's mood could be described as gloomy and melancholic. His manager, Fang Ling, blamed him for offending a big shot and had stopped all his current work. The resources that originally belonged to him were all given to Qin Yangyang. It looked as if they wanted to promote the newcomer, Qin Yangyang, and were preparing to shelve his career. Although Zhang Yihan entered the entertainment industry to pursue his idol, after tasting the feeling of being the center of attention and being adored by everyone, who would be content to return to their original position, to return to an ordinary life and become just another face in the crowd. In any case, Zhang Yihan didn't want to. Being a star is so great, you get cheered on by fans wherever you go. Just by filming one commercial or one TV drama, you could earn millions. Even when he did something very simple and ordinary, a crowd of fans would immediately run over to praise him. Zhang Yihan enjoyed this feeling of being surrounded by a halo. This undoubtedly satisfied his vanity to the highest degree. Now that Fang Ling seemed to want to shelve his career, Zhang Yihan didn't want to lose what he had as a star. So of course, he was panicked. The first person Zhang Yihan thought of to ask for help was Yang Yuting. But as a male lead with an image of being tough and unyielding, self-reliant, stubbornly cute, and from a common background, how could Zhang Yihan, as soon as he ran into trouble, go looking for Yang Yuting to solve his problems? In that case, how would he be any different from those kept gigolos? Yang Yuting, who was beside him, saw that Zhang Yihan's unhappiness was clearly written on his face. She liked Zhang Yihan, so of course she didn't mind putting in the effort to coax him. She booked out an entire high-end Western restaurant and arranged for a candlelight dinner. In the beautiful atmosphere, after a glass of red wine, Yang Yuting just asked one question. "What's wrong?" Jiang Yihan then recounted with great grievance what happened at the company, how he was bullied by Fang Ling. Sister Fang said he've offended a big shot and that the higher-ups gave the order to ban and shelve my career. But Yuting, I've always had a good relationship with everyone. How could I have offended anyone? Yuting, being a star is my dream. Is it about to be destroyed now? His words absolved him of any responsibility and seemed to be subtly hinting at something. Young Yuting did not disappoint Jiang Yihan's expectations. She understood his hint. She spoke up almost immediately. Yihan, you are naturally innocent and kind-hearted. How could you have offended anyone? It must be Jiang Chen playing tricks. Huang Tian Entertainment is a subsidiary of the Jiang Corporation. He must have found out about your existence, which is why that day he... The two words cancel the engagement were almost blurted out by Yang Yuting. Luckily, she stopped herself in time. Otherwise, if she let Jiang Yihan know that she was dumped by the man he hated the most, wouldn't he laugh at her? Yang Yuting hesitated for a moment, blurring out the words, cancel the engagement. Recalling how I called off our wedding on the wedding day itself, she became even more resentful. Yihan, don't worry, I will definitely make Jiang Chen give you an explanation for this. Jiang Yihan, of course, believed Yang Yuting's words. Having gotten Yang Yuting's assurance, he was no longer worried. After finishing the romantic dinner, Yang Yuting called the waiter over to pay the bill and threw down a black card. Unexpectedly, a moment later, the waiter returned with the card. I'm sorry, miss, your card has been frozen. Would you like to use another card to pay? Yang Yuting's expression turned ugly. Frozen card? She quickly figured it out. It must have been Old Master Yang. Because she ran away on her wedding day, Old Master Yang was punishing her financially. As for her other cards, one didn't need to think, to know they must have been frozen as well. Booking out a high-end Western restaurant, having a romantic candlelight dinner for two, only to not have the money to pay for it. How embarrassing. This was the first time in her life Yang Yuting had lost face like this, and it was in front of the man she loved. In the end, it was the sensible Jiang Yihan who proactively took out his own card to pay. Jiang Yihan knew Yang Yuting had a lot of pride, so he was afraid she would be unhappy. He quickly said in a gentle voice, Yuting, this is the first time I've paid when we've gone out to eat together. This feeling is really great. In the future, let me pay a few more times so I can experience this feeling, okay? The clever Jiang Yihan didn't ask why Yang Yuting's card was frozen. He skillfully used the art of words to dissolve Yang Yuting's embarrassment. As expected, as soon as Jiang Yihan said that, Yang Yuting's expression finally improved a little. The two returned to Jiang Yihan's apartment, where Yang Yuting called Old Master Yang. The moment she opened her mouth, it was to question him. Grandpa, why did you freeze my cards? Old Master Yang let out a cold laugh. After several days, he finally received a call from Yang Yuting, yet it was to question him about why he froze her cards. Yang Yuting was truly his good granddaughter. Old Master Yang called her by her full name and said slowly, Yang Yuting, you know very well in your heart why your cards were frozen. Yang Yuting's voice faltered. She gripped the phone tightly and said angrily, Grandpa, I told you a long time ago that I don't like Jiang Chen. You were the one who forced me to marry him. Old Master Yang laughed in anger. Being able to marry the grandson of the richest man was something so many women in Lancheng dreamed of, yet Yang Yuting, this ungrateful brat, didn't appreciate it. She didn't want such a great young master from the wealthiest family, but instead liked some actor. So who do you like? That actor? Yang Yuting? Don't forget your status. Without the Yang family, you are nothing. It'll give you 3 days to think it over. Either you go back and apologize to Jiang Chen, admit your mistake, beg for his forgiveness, and continue with the wedding, or I will reclaim all the assets under your name. Financial punishment was always the tactic of a family head. It's just that Yang Yuting, you could tell at a glance, had never been beaten down by society. The rich young lady, in a tone even colder than Old Master Yang's, replied with 2 words, as you wish, and hung up. Old Master Yang was so angry he leaned back, furiously ordering his men to reclaim the assets under Yang Yuting's name. At this moment, Yang Yuting had become a fallen young lady, run away from home and financially punished. Not only did Jiang Yihan not despise her, he was, on the contrary, extremely moved. He hugged her from behind. Yuting, I heard your entire conversation with your grandfather. You fought with your family because of me. From now on, let me take care of you, okay? Yang Yuting was in a fit of anger, only feeling that Old Master Yang was always forcing her. The resentment building up inside her couldn't be released. If at this moment Jiang Yihan had advised her to bow her head and admit her mistake to Old Master Yang to return to the Yang family, not only would Yang Yuting not be grateful, she would have taken her anger out on Jiang Yihan instead. But Jiang Yihan said what he did, and Yang Yuting felt that there was still someone in the world who understood her. She immediately felt that Jiang Yihan, the man who said he wanted to take care of her, had become incredibly charming. Yihan, I really didn't love the wrong person. The fallen young lady kicked out of her home, Yang Yuting, stayed in Jiang Yihan's small apartment. Having been used to living in luxurious villas, living in such a small apartment for the first time was, for Yang Yuting, a rare and novel experience. The two were inseparable for several days before Jiang Yihan remembered his career as a star. Yang Yuting decided to go with Jiang Yihan to Huang Tian Entertainment together, intending to back Jiang Yihan up. Yihan, I'll go with you. I want to see if your manager still dares to bully you. As soon as they arrived at Huangtian Entertainment, Yang Yuting held Jiang Yihan's hand, her whole body exuding the aura of a rich young lady, her gaze as cold as a winter's night as she looked at Fang Ling. Are you the one who bullied my Yihan, gave his resources to someone else, and want to shelve his career? Fang Ling was both shocked and angry. She glanced at Jiang Yihan. This face of Yang Yuting's had been in the business news before. The fiancée of the richest young master in Lancheng, who wouldn't know her? Fang Ling had always known that Jiang Yihan definitely had a sugar daddy backing him, but she never expected this sponsor to be Yang Yuting. No wonder the great young master of the Jiang family wanted to deal with him. Jiang Yihan had really gotten her into deep trouble. He dared to climb into any woman's bed. With Yang Yuting backing him, Jiang Yihan wasn't afraid of Fang Ling at all. He leaned against Yang Yuting. Yuting, Sister Fang is actually very good to me. She just has no other choice. Don't blame her. Fang Ling also spoke up from the side. CEO Yang, it's not bullying. This is an internal decision of Huangtian Entertainment. Internal decision? Yang Yuting curled her lip, letting out a cold laugh. Very well. Call your CEO Huang over here. CEO Huang was the former CEO of Huangtian Entertainment. Clearly, Yang Yuting hadn't heard this news yet. She thought that upon hearing her call for CEO Huang, Fang Ling would show some fear, more or less. Unexpectedly, Fang Ling didn't even blink and replied, I'm sorry, CEO Yang. CEO Huang has been fired. Yang Yuting frowned, vaguely feeling that something was beyond her control. Fired? Fang Ling said, neither arrogant nor humble. That's right. The current CEO of Huangtian Entertainment is CEO Jiang. CEO Jiang? Yang Yuting didn't think that the CEO Jiang Feng Ling mentioned was me. The original Jiang Chen was a quiet and melancholic artist, always silent. The titles Young Master Jiang and CEO Jiang were really hard to imagine as being the same person. A glint appeared in Fang Ling's eyes. She suddenly looked at the intimately embracing Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan, then looked back at Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan, and a thought of revenge sprouted. She spoke up and asked, does CEO Yang want to meet CEO Jiang? Yang Yuting came here to back up her little lover Jiang Yihan, so of course she couldn't return empty-handed, otherwise she would lose face in front of her little lover. So what if the CEO of Huangtian Entertainment had changed? The Yang and Jiang families were friends for generations, as long as she, Yang Yuting, revealed her identity. Why would she fear that this newly appointed CEO Jiang wouldn't give her face? Yang Yuting lifted her chin, her expression filled with arrogance, as she haughtily ordered Fang Ling. Of course I'll meet him. You, hurry up and tell that so-called CEO Jiang to come here and see me. The corner of Fang Ling's mouth curved into a strange smile. Okay. CEO Yang, please wait a moment. I will inform CEO Jiang right away. Then, right in front of Yang Yuting, she used the internal phone to connect to the CEO's office. From the moment Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan stepped into the Huangtian Entertainment building, I already knew. So when I received Fang Ling's call, I wasn't surprised at all. But hearing Fang Ling's words, I laughed. I gently uttered a few words. How ridiculous! Who the hell does she, Yang Yuting, think she is, to be worthy of me going to see her? I leaned back slightly, sitting lazily on the swivel chair. Either Yang Yuting gets her ass up to the 33rd floor to see me herself, or have security throw these irrelevant people out of Huangtian Entertainment. Fang Ling received the instruction, and the corner of her mouth curled up. She replied respectfully, yes, CEO Jiang. Jiang Yihan was acting tough in his own territory. Wasn't it just because he had Yang Yuting backing him? In the end, the Jiang Corporation was the real sponsor who paid her salary and fed her. What right did Yang Yuting have to come and show off in front of her? Wasn't it just because of young Master Jiang's affection? When young Master Jiang still liked Yang Yuting was the future mistress of the Jiang Corporation. Everyone at Huangtian Entertainment, from top to bottom, had to give her face. But when young Master Jiang no longer liked her, what the hell was Yang Yuting? Now knowing young Master Jiang's attitude, Fang Ling knew what to do. She turned and relayed my words to Yang Yuting, a faint, cold, and sarcastic smile on her lips. CEO Jiang said he's very busy, he doesn't have time to come down. CEO Yang, if you want to see him, please go up to the CEO's office on the 33rd floor. After all, the other party was the young lady of the Yang family. Even if she wasn't the young mistress of the Jiang Corporation, her status was still much nobler than that of a lowly manager like her. So when she spoke, Fang Ling still left Yang Yuting with some face, not relaying my words verbatim. Otherwise, if Yang Yuting found out that my original words were to tell her to get her ass up here, it's uncertain if Yang Yuting would die of anger. Even though Fang Ling had saved face for Yang Yuting like that, when Yang Yuting heard that CEO Jiang wouldn't come down, and even made her go up to the CEO's office on the 33rd floor herself, she still laughed in anger. Yang Yuting asked, laughing furiously, didn't you tell him my identity? That's right, Yang Yuting still thought this CEO Jiang was someone else. Fang Ling looked at Yang Yuting as if to say, is there something wrong with your ears? And looked at Yang Yuting. She reminded her, CEO Yang, I told CEO Jiang your identity from the very beginning. Didn't you hear me just now? Hearing this, Yang Yuting's face stung a little. Of course she had heard, so the fact that the other party ignored her identity made her even angrier. Yang Yuting was rarely looked down upon like this. She immediately let out a cold laugh and said, I want to see just what kind of big shot this CEO Jiang is. When Yang Yuting led Jiang Yihan to the 33rd floor, pushed open the door to the CEO's office, the moment she saw me sitting inside, she was stunned. I looked at her and smiled. What's wrong? Don't you know how to knock before entering? Or is this how Miss Yang was brought up? Hearing this, Yang Yuting came to her senses and said with a frown, Zhang Chen, don't you dare bully Yihan. Yang Yuting didn't notice at all that when she said the name Zhang Chen, Zhang Yihan's entire body froze. Even his pupils became rigid. He knew Yang Yuting had a childhood sweetheart fiancé, but he never expected it to be the handsome CEO in front of him. He felt extremely awkward at this moment, but I didn't even spare him a glance. I laughed and repeated Yang Yuting's words. Miss Yang, which of your dog eyes saw me bullying your little lover? Hearing this, Yang Yuting looked incredulous. Zhang Chen, who had always liked her, could actually say such words. She was shocked, embarrassed, and angry. Zhang Chen, you. But the words got stuck in her throat and she didn't know what to say. For a moment, she was choked with anger. I looked at her sarcastically and asked back, what about me? Seeing this, Zhang Yihan, who was beside her, quickly spoke up. Young Master Zhang, how could you treat Yuting like this? Before he could finish his words, I glanced over. What I say, what I do, since when was it your turn to teach me? Zhang Yihan gulped, feeling an inexplicable sense of fear. But thinking of Yang Yuting beside him, he probably wouldn't dare do anything to him. Besides, he had to put on a show for Yang Yuting. So, Zhang Yihan forced himself to continue. CEO Zhang, Yuting is the young lady of the Yang family, the CEO of the Yang Corporation. She is a woman. How can you show her so little respect and insult Yuting so casually? What you're doing is wrong. I looked at Zhang Yihan and smiled. Zhang Yihan, that's you. Only you need to flatter and curry favor with the woman in front of you. But I'm different. Yang Yuting, I've already scolded her. What can she do to me? That is the difference between you and me. Jiang Yihan didn't dare to refute, because I could destroy him with just a snap of my fingers. Seeing her beloved little puppy get shut down by me while defending her, Yang Yuting, of course, couldn't sit still. She glared at me and said coldly, Jiang Chen, what are you so proud of? You're just relying on the Zhang family's background to do whatever you want. I came here today to ask you, why are you treating Yihan like this? Seeing someone step up for him, Zhang Yihan quickly chimed in. CEO Zhang, Sister Fang said you've stopped all my current work. I, Zhang Yihan, may have a lowly status, not like you who was born a great young master, the grandson of the richest man, but we poor people also have pride and backbone. If you, CEO Zhang, continue to force my hand like this, when I have nothing left to lose, I can only fight to the bitter end. Hearing that, I glanced at him. Are you threatening me? Zhang Yihan continued, although the Zhang family is the richest in Lancheng, they can't cover the sky with one hand, can they? As he said these words, he looked into my eyes as if reminding me that he, Zhang Yihan, was after all an idol star with many fans. If I didn't give him a way out, he would definitely fight me to the death. I sneered contemptuously. You're wrong. In Lancheng, the Zhang family can indeed cover the sky with one hand. Let me remind you, although I no longer care about Yang Yuting, there's one thing I hope you remember clearly. Before, Yang Yuting was my fiancé. At most, you're just a gigolo. Tell me, if your fans found out that the male god in their hearts is a gigolo, what would happen? Hearing this, Zhang Yihan's pupils suddenly contracted. Seeing this, Yang Yuting couldn't help but say, Zhang Chen, don't go too far. I've never liked you, and I've never acknowledged you as my fiancé. What right do you have to call him a third party? She was shielding Zhang Yihan. If it were the old Zhang Chen, hearing her say that would definitely have revealed a hurt expression. That's what Yang Yuting still thought. I smiled and said, what a coincidence. I don't want to acknowledge it either. It's just that, over the years, the Yang family has relied on the Jiang family to gain quite a few benefits. It doesn't matter if you don't want to acknowledge it. In the eyes of the world, you are the daughter-in-law abandoned by the Jiang family. When Yang Yuting heard from my mouth the title of Jiang family daughter-in-law, she couldn't hear anything else. Her anger had made her lose all reason. Seeing this, I curled my lip and continued. Right now, I am the executive CEO of Huangtian Entertainment. Zhang Yihan is an artist of the company. The position you have in the entertainment industry today, where did it ultimately come from? You know better than anyone in your heart. I don't know where you get the face to dare to come and shout in front of me. I'm very busy. If there's nothing else, get lost. After speaking, I pressed the intercom, calling the secretary in to see out the redundant and unsightly Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan. Even if the two of them were unwilling, what could they do? Jiang Yihan said in a panic and with grievance, Yuting, I signed a 10-year contract with Huangtian Entertainment. Young Master Jiang holds my contract, and now because he's turned love into hate, what's going to happen to my future? Hearing this, Yang Yuting was shocked. Is it because love turned to hate? She only just came to a realization. An inexplicable confidence grew in her heart. Without love, where would the hate come from? Zhang Chen must still be in love with me. I knew it. How could a person's feelings change so quickly? Thinking of this, her confidence suddenly grew. She took Zhang Yihan's hand and said, Yihan, don't worry, it'll help you solve this. Although the Zhang family is the richest in Lancheng, our Yang family is no pushover either. At worst, it's just a breach of contract. It'll pay the compensation fee for you. The Yang Group also has a film company. Although it's not as good as Huangtian Entertainment, as long as you sign a contract with us, I absolutely won't let you suffer any losses. Besides, Jiang Chen is relying on his status as the young master of the Jiang family to mess around at Huangtian Entertainment. His grandfather probably doesn't know about it. If old Master Jiang knew, he definitely wouldn't let Jiang Chen act so recklessly. After saying that, she directly made a phone call to old Master Jiang. Old Master Jiang Chen doesn't understand company management at all. He's just messing around at Huangtian Entertainment, suppressing artists based on his moods and preferences. A hard-working and promising artist is being buried just like that. Grandpa, do you think this is reasonable? Old Master Jiang immediately let out a cold laugh. It's not your place to point fingers at my grandson. That hard-working, promising artist is that pretty boy of yours, Zhang Yihan, isn't he? After I reminded old Master Jiang earlier, he had people investigate Yang Yuting and found out about Zhang Yihan. Yang Yuting didn't know how to explain, so she stubbornly said, Old Master Jiang, I don't have any selfish intentions. I'm reminding you because I'm worried that Jiang Chen will ruin and destroy Huangtian Entertainment. After all, Huangtian Entertainment is one of the Jiang family's profitable assets. I'm just looking out for the good of your Jiang family. Old Master Jiang sneered. No need, as long as Jiang Chen is happy, a mere Huangtian Entertainment, so what if I give it to Jiang Chen to play with and practice? I, Jiang Hongtao, can afford the loss. After saying that, he hung up on Yang Yuting. He immediately turned around and made another call, scolding old Master Yang fiercely. Old Yang, control your granddaughter, standing up for her pretty boy. She even came to me. And she dared to criticize Jiang Chen's mistakes. Let me tell you, my patience has its limits. It's the father's fault when a child isn't disciplined. This granddaughter, Yang Yuting, is undisciplined, so naturally, it's old Master Yang's fault. Old Master Yang had just picked up the phone when he was fiercely scolded by old Master Jiang. His face immediately darkened. The other party was aggressive, their presence overwhelming, and they were in the right. Old Master Yang didn't dare to say a single word back. At this moment, on the phone, he was being lectured by old Master Jiang like a grandchild. Old Master Yang was unfairly reprimanded by old Master Jiang. Having been wronged and treated like a junior, he naturally had to find the culprit, Yang Yuting, who caused the trouble. Yang Yuting, you wretched girl, all you do is cause trouble outside all day. I think you've lost your mind. Don't you know who Jiang Chen is? Jiang Hongtao only has this one grandson. He dotes on him to no end, and yet you went and tattled directly to Jiang Hongtao. Should I say you're young and impulsive, or should I say you're just brainless? This time, old Master Yang was truly furious. After scolding his granddaughter, he hung up. He even announced to the world that he would cut off all of Yang Yuting's resources. Firstly, it was an explanation for old Master Jiang. Secondly, Yang Yuting had truly disappointed him. But Yang Yuting, who wanted to use the Yang family's power, found that she couldn't command the people from the Yang group. The promises she made to Jiang Yihan naturally became empty words. I had already decided to deal with this scumbag couple to get some interest back for the original Jiang Chen. So naturally, there was no reason to stop. The status of the richest young master is very useful. I don't even need to get my hands dirty. Ever since I made my dislike for Jiang Yihan clear, there would naturally be underlings to help me vent my anger. The mockery and ridicule mode towards Jiang Yihan was activated. Every day, Jiang Yihan would come home and complain to Yang Yuting, wanting Yang Yuting's help. But what could Yang Yuting do now? To make matters worse, the riverside apartment that Jiang Yihan lived in was housing provided to artists by Huangtian Entertainment. At the right time, I hinted for the company to take it back. Jiang Yihan and the fallen miss of the Yang family, with their cards frozen and not a penny to their names, had no choice but to move out of the riverside apartment. Also, the BMW car, assigned to Jiang Yihan for transportation, was also taken back, ruining them step by step. Yang Yuting had fallen so far now that she could only rely on her pretty boy boyfriend to support her. She was panicking. Could this be the life she wanted? This period for Jiang Yihan and Yang Yuting could be described as living in hell. As for me, things were going swimmingly. Gu Qingshui arrived at Shui Mo Lanting on time every day. I painted while admiring the young woman's beauty. Occasionally, I would tease her, teasing her until her face turned red, but I always knew when to stop. I also listened to Xiao Hualin Feifei's real-time reports on the hellish plight of Jiang Yihan and Yang Yuting, and I smiled happily. I decided to go to a bar for a celebratory drink. Miya Bar is Lan Cheng's money pit, a world of red lights and green wine, luxurious and decadent. The former top starlet of the entertainment industry, Gu Qingshui, was singing here. The young master of the Feng family in Lancheng, Feng Qiang, had always been a loyal fan of Gu Qingshui. Back when Gu Qingshui was a big star, Feng Qiang had sent flowers at her concerts and given sky-high expensive gifts, just hoping to get a single glance from Gu Qingshui. But back then, Gu Qingshui was a distant, unreachable star for Feng Qiang. Now that the star had dimmed and fallen, landing in this place of both darkness and revelry, it seemed she was within reach. Feng Qiang didn't care about the scandals of Gu Qingshui that were exposed online. He followed her all the way to Miye Bar, where Gu Qingshui was working as a backup singer. Gu Qingshui sang at Miye Bar because the boss behind Miye Bar had a powerful background and wasn't afraid of the Yang family. Yang Yuting's reach couldn't extend to this place. That's why Gu Qingshui stayed. Entering the bar, I found a booth and sat down, watching Gu Qingshui play the piano and sing on stage. The lively beauty in her eyes attracted many restless people here. They held their wine glasses, wanting to strike up a conversation, but before they could get close, several men in black suits suddenly appeared around the booth, wearing sunglasses, blocking them. After the restless men left, the men in black suits and sunglasses returned to their positions, as if they had never appeared. I acted as if I saw none of this, not even the corner of my eye twitched. My hand gently swirled the wine glass, taking a sip occasionally. Gu Qingshui performed once every Friday at Mia Bar, getting off stage when her time was up. As soon as she got off stage, she was invited over by Feng Qiang's people. "Little sister, last time I asked you about being my girlfriend, what have you decided?" Feng Qiang had confessed to Gu Qingshui more than once, but Gu Qingshui's attitude had always been one of refusal. Feng Qiang was, after all, the young master of the Feng family, and being rejected by Gu Qingshui multiple times, his patience was wearing thin. Before, Gu Qingshui was a star in the sky, a top star in the entertainment industry, someone whose star even Feng Qiang had to chase. Back then, Gu Qingshui was cold to him, not even bothering to speak politely, and Feng Qiang found her noble and arrogant. But now, Gu Qingshui had fallen into darkness without her former glory. This young master Feng felt that he still liked her, and that being willing to let Gu Qingshui be his girlfriend was already an act of charity. Her being ungrateful made Feng Qiang extremely angry. Last time, Feng Qiang left her with a sentence, telling Gu Qingshui to think carefully about whether she wanted to be his girlfriend. It carried a threatening tone. In the original plot, it was because of this rejection from Gu Qingshui that an enraged Feng Qiang stormed into Mother Gu's hospital, said many harsh and even cruel things. Only then did Mother Gu realize what her daughter had been enduring. Mother Gu immediately had a relapse and was rushed to the emergency room. Later, after Mother Gu was saved, not wanting to be a burden to Gu Qingshui anymore, she secretly removed her oxygen tube one night. When she woke up the next day, the Mother Gu that Gu Qingshui saw was just a cold corpse. It could be said that Feng Qiang was the last straw that broke Gu Qingshui. Gu Qingshui really is a pitiful girl. I naturally couldn't let the beautiful young woman fall into such a situation again. That's why I came tonight. At this moment, Gu Qingshui shook her head. "I'm sorry. Sir, I'm only focused on making money right now. I have no intention of being in a relationship." Feng Qiang didn't give up and continued. "I can give you money." Gu Qingshui coldly refused. "I can't accept rewards for no merit." Feng Qiang frowned at her. "Am I not good enough? You keep rejecting me again and again. Or do you already have a boyfriend?" Gu Qingshui was about to say no, but I unconsciously came to her mind and she hesitated for a moment. It was this very hesitation that let Feng Qiang see a clue. The anger in his heart erupted in an instant. Didn't you say you only wanted to make money? Who is he?" Gu Qingshui said coldly. "I don't think this has anything to do with you." Feng Qiang looked at her angrily and uttered a cruel threat. "Gu Qingshui, you will definitely regret this." Gu Qingshui paid no mind to Feng Qiang's words. She turned to leave, but Feng Qiang and his buddies wouldn't let her. "Gu Qingshui, stop right there." Feng Qiang's buddies deliberately made things difficult for Gu Qingshui, venting Feng Qiang's anger for him. "Gu Qingshui, do you still think you're the glamorous big star you used to be? Our brother Feng has taken an interest in you. That's your good fortune. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit." Gu Qingshui didn't turn back at all. She turned and walked away. After taking just 2 steps forward, she heard Feng Qiang's voice from behind. "Gu Qingshui, you seem to have a sick mother, right?" Gu Qingshui suddenly whipped around, her beautiful face covered in a layer of cold frost. Her eyes emitted a sharp coldness. "What do you want to do?" Feng Qiang smiled. "This young master has pursued you for so long, yet you refuse to agree. Now you even like another man, making this young master a laughingstock. Tell me, how can you not pay a price for this?" Gu Qingshui said in a cold voice. "You can make things as difficult for me as you want, but don't touch my mother." The girl's clear, glass-like eyes shone with a desperate light. If Feng Qiang really crossed her bottom line, she wasn't afraid to perish with him. Feng Qiang was a little intimidated by Gu Qingshui's gaze. "Fine, I won't touch your mother. But if you don't want anything to happen to your mother, then drink all the alcohol here. Don't leave a single drop." There were dozens of bottles of foreign liquor on the table, all of them high-proof hard liquor. In the original plot, Gu Qingshui drank this alcohol, but Feng Qiang didn't keep his promise and still went to find Mother Gu. But now, with Mother Gu involved, Gu Qingshui didn't dare to gamble. Her slender, fair hand lifted a bottle of liquor to her lips. Before drinking, she said one cold sentence. "I am drinking, and I just hope you can be a man of your word." After speaking, the young woman tilted her head back, quickly finished a bottle of hard liquor. The people around cheered. "Amazing! Keep going! That's only the first bottle. There are still several bottles left." When Gu Qingshui finished the first bottle, she was already feeling a bit dizzy. Just as she reached for the second bottle, a hand unexpectedly grabbed her wrist. I leaned in and whispered in her ear, "Drinking without calling me?" Gu Qingshui's eyes were hazy, and she gently uttered 2 words, "Jiang Chen." I nodded and said, "Yes, it's me." After speaking, I gently kissed the trace of liquor from her lips. Gu Qingshui looked at me with a shocked expression and asked, "You, why did you kiss me?" I smiled and said, because I like you. After saying that, I lifted her chin and asked, do you like me? Gu Qingshui heard her own voice, which had lost its usual coldness, containing a hint of drunken haze, but she answered me with great conviction. I do. I've liked you since the first time we met. After saying this, she took the initiative and kissed me. Seeing this, Feng Qiang felt like he was going crazy. Looking at the man who had appeared out of nowhere, kissing and hugging Gu Qingshui, yet the girl who had always been cold to him didn't resist at all. She even took the initiative to kiss that man, and said she liked him the most. Feng Qiang's face twisted, and he roared crazily. Who are you? You dare to fight with me, Feng Qiang, for a woman? You really have a death wish. I told Gu Qingshui to stand still obediently, then glanced at Feng Qiang. Who are you? You dare to raise your voice at me? I think you're the one with a death wish. Feng Qiang had always been a pampered young master. Everyone flattered him. This was the first time anyone had dared to speak to him like this. He stepped forward, about to make a move, but out of nowhere appeared several men in black suits and sunglasses. One of them grabbed Feng Qiang's wrist with great force. I just said calmly, cripple one of his hands for this young master. When I said this, my expression and tone of voice barely changed. It seemed that crippling one of Feng Qiang's hands was no different from chopping a head of cabbage. Feng Qiang's pupils suddenly contracted. You dare? Do you know who I am? I smiled. I can tell you for certain. I do dare. Do it. The bodyguard in black received the order and acted immediately. A blood-curdling scream was heard, coming from Feng Qiang's mouth. Everyone around was stunned. Are you crazy? He's the young master of the Feng family in Lancheng. You dare to hurt Feng Qiang? The Feng family won't let you off. Feng Qiang had never suffered like this before. His face pale and twisted in pain, he uttered a cruel threat. You're really courting death. Our Feng family will not let you off. I raised an eyebrow and smiled meaningfully. All right then, I'll wait and see. At this point, someone in the crowd recognized my identity and wanted to warn Feng Qiang to stop courting death. Feng Qiang, stop talking. He's the young master of the Jiang family. Hearing that, the crazed screams of Feng Qiang immediately got stuck in his throat. His expression froze. How could this be? After finding out my identity, Feng Qiang, with one arm crippled, didn't dare to utter another word, let alone talk about settling scores with me. I successfully took the drunk Gu Qingshui away from Mi Ye Bar and brought her back to Shui Mo Lanting. Waking up the next day, Gu Qingshui found herself in a strange but magnificent room. Just then, I walked in from outside. Gu Qingshui spoke first. Young Master Jiang, last night, did you bring me back from the bar? I nodded and smiled. That's right. You don't remember anything at all? Gu Qingshui's eyelashes trembled. She stammered. I was drunk. I looked at her and said, then let me remind you. Last night you said you didn't like anyone else, that the person you like the most is me. You kept holding on to me and wouldn't let me go. We even slept together last night. Look at what you did. After saying that, I raised my hand and gently pulled open my V-neck collar. A bright red bite mark was visible on my skin. Gu Qingshui blushed with embarrassment and turned her face away. I'm sorry. I smiled, lifting her face to tease her. You look so cute when you blush. Don't go to Miye Bar anymore, okay? Gu Qingshui gave a wry smile. If she could, Miye Bar was a place she didn't want to go to either. It's just that her mother's illness requires a lot of money. Gu Qingshui pursed her lips. But, I interrupted her. Are you worried about your mother's illness? That's simple. As long as you become a star again, you can both earn money and not have to worry about your mother knowing and worrying about your current situation. Gu Qingshui's expression changed slightly, and she shook her head. I'm an artist who has been blacklisted by Huangtian Entertainment. I can't switch to another company. The contract termination fee is astronomical. Actually, with Gu Qingshui's status as a top idol back then, even if she breached her contract to move to another entertainment company, I believe there would be quite a few companies willing to pay this compensation fee for her. But who told Gu Qingshui to offend? The great miss of the Yang family, Yang Yuting. A cash cow had become a hot potato, so naturally, no one wanted to take her on. The corner of my mouth lifted. Who said anything about you moving to another entertainment company? Just stay at Huangtian Entertainment. Maybe the company will decide to promote you again. Hearing that, Gu Qingshui lowered her head and said, impossible. The person who blacklisted me is Yang Yuting of the Yang Group. Gu Qingshui vaguely knew a bit of the inside story. Although she didn't know when she had offended Yang Yuting, she herself was very puzzled. I heard that Yang Yuting is the young mistress of the richest family, and Huangtian Entertainment is an asset of the Jiang Group. Since Yang Yuting has spoken, how could Huangtian Entertainment? Before she could finish her sentence, I interrupted her. Yang Yuting? She's not the young mistress of the richest family. Yang Yuting is a pawn that the Yang family has already discarded. She's no longer the president of the Yang Group. Right now, she can barely fend for herself. There's no way she can do anything to you anymore. Gu Qingshui didn't ask how I knew these things. She knew I wasn't an ordinary person. She looked at me intently and asked, do you really hope I'll become a star again? I nodded. Of course, you shine the brightest when you're on stage. After saying that, I kissed her again. Gu Qingshui's face turned slightly red from the kiss. If it's what you hope for, what you like, then what's wrong with me returning to the starlight? Someone decided to step out of the darkness and return to the brilliant starlight. Someone else fell from the clouds and wallowed in the mud. Yang Yuting learned once again from Mother Yang that old Master Yang had not only cut off all her resources, but was also planning to disown her. This also made Mother Yang extremely anxious. Yuting, if you keep being stubborn with your grandfather and don't come back, there will be no place for the two of us and the Yang family in the future. Yuting, come back and apologize to your grandfather, I'm begging you. Mother Yang's words were earnest and sincere. Young Yuting had long had enough of her current poor and miserable life. It's not that she didn't want to go back to the Yang family, she just didn't want to bow her head to Jiang Chen. Because Young Yuting knew that old Master Yang would definitely make her go to the Jiang family in person to atone for her wrongdoing. This was the thing Yang Yuting wanted to do the least. When you've looked down on someone's true feelings for too long, you start to think they don't even have the right to like you. Thinking of this, she looked at Jiang Yihan beside her. Yihan, my mother told me to go back to the Yang family to take back what's mine, but how could I possibly leave you? Jiang Yihan had his own calculations in his heart. If it were before, he naturally wouldn't want Yang Yuting to leave and would wish they could be together all the time. However, Yang Yuting was no longer the rich young lady she once was. Her unlimited black card had been frozen, and access to the properties in her name was restricted. Her words no longer held any power. He couldn't even rely on her to back him up or vent his frustrations. A fallen socialite like Yang Yuting was not what he wanted. Thinking of this, Jiang Yihan quickly said, Yuting, you should go back. You'll be fine. I love you, so of course I hope you can live well. As long as you have me in your heart, think of me, and remember me, even if you're not by my side, Yuting, you'll still be happy. With Jiang Yihan being so understanding, Yang Yuting no longer had any psychological burden and returned to the Yang family home. Although old Master Yang said he was extremely disappointed in Yang Yuting, she was still the one Jiang Chen liked, after all. Seeing Yang Yuting obediently return, he didn't say anything, but he wasn't unhappy inside. As long as Yuting could coax Jiang Chen into changing his mind, then the plan he had schemed for many years wouldn't be a total waste. Who knows, there might even be a turn for the better. With these various calculations in mind, old Master Yang said with a stern face, Jiang Chen is the son-in-law I approve of. As long as you can beg for Jiang Chen's forgiveness and make him change his mind and agree to marry you again, only then can you return to the Yang family. This condition set by old Master Yang did not surprise Yang Yuting at all. She even understood the ambition hidden behind old Master Yang's righteous words. She knew it crystal clear. It was nothing more than coveting the immense wealth of the Jiang family. The corner of Yang Yuting's mouth curved into a sarcastic yet confident smile. When old Master Yang glanced over, Yang Yuting slightly lowered her head to hide it. She said with great confidence, Grandfather, I understand. Jiang Chen has me in his heart. It won't be difficult for me to make him change his mind. Hearing this, the look in old Master Yang's eyes toward Yang Yuting immediately softened a lot. Just as he was about to promise Yang Yuting something, a teasing voice rang out, coming from another woman sitting in the Yang family's living room. She looked somewhat similar to Yang Yuting, but her aura was different. Young Master Jiang is the grandson of the richest man, after all. The groom ran away on the wedding day, causing her to suffer extreme humiliation. I'm afraid he can't be coaxed with just a few words. Even if you can coax young Master Jiang, passing old Master Jiang's trial won't be easy, right? Grandfather, don't you agree? Old Master Jiang thought about it, and immediately felt it made sense. He swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. His gaze towards Yang Yuting was no longer as gentle as before, returning to its coldness. He said indifferently, just get that kid Jiang Chen to come back first, then we'll talk. He didn't even give her the simplest promise, for example, that if she could coax Jiang Chen into changing his mind, he would allow her to unfreeze her card. Yang Yuting saw that old Master Yang's expression had clearly wavered and softened, but because of a few short sentences from Yang Siki, he had become cold again. Her gaze towards Yang Siki was filled with hostility. Just you wait after I coax Jiang Chen back and win back grandfather's favor. He'll deal with you then. Mother Yang brought Yang Yuting to the Jiang family villa. Compared to reluctantly bowing her head to me before returning to the Yang family, now with the threat of Yang Siki, Yang Yuting was, on the contrary, a little eager to see Jiang Chen and make him change his mind. But as soon as they arrived at the door, they were stopped by a maid. I'm sorry, our young master is still sleeping. Please wait a moment, you two. Mother Yang frowned. It's already so late, why is he still sleeping? Go and call Jiang Chen down here. Her tone sounded a bit like a mother-in-law. Xiaolan was stunned for a moment, looking at Mother Yang as if to say, Are you crazy? The young master sleeps as long as he wants. Even the old master doesn't interfere. Madam Yang, you're overstepping your bounds. Hearing this, Mother Yang remembered her purpose for coming to the Jiang household today and suppressed her anger. Xiaolan stepped back, afraid her young master would be taken advantage of, so she secretly called old Master Jiang to inform him that the young mother and daughter had arrived at the Jiang residence. After old Master Jiang rushed back, I had just woken up and came downstairs. Glancing at the mother and daughter, I said casually, The house is so full of guests, it's so lively. Yang Yuting's gaze was almost immediately drawn to me. This was Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen seemed even more handsome today. Her eyes held a burning intensity that even she herself didn't realize. Burning. Mother Yang glanced at her daughter's eyes and rejoiced inwardly. There's hope. She had been worried that her daughter would only agree on the surface, but wouldn't be able to humble herself before Jiang Chen, unable to let go of her pride. After all, in the past, Yang Yuting's attitude towards me wasn't good at all. It was this Jiang family kid who was infatuated on his own, insisting on liking her daughter. Now, seeing Yang Yuting staring at him, to the point of being a little dazed, Mother Yang felt that this time, Yang Yuting would definitely be obedient and bow her head to admit her mistake to Jiang Chen. So she spoke up to bridge the gap. Jiang Chen, what guests? We are all family. You are my son-in-law. I ignored Mother Yang's self-proclaimed words, walked over and sat down on the sofa. After greeting old Master Jiang, I turned my head and looked at the maid, Xiaolan. Get me a cup of coffee. Mother Yang's expression became awkward, and she looked a little embarrassed. This Jiang Chen was unexpectedly so disrespectful. I am his future mother-in-law, after all. Relying on the fact that he's the grandson of the richest man, he's so rude. For now, it's better to endure it. Old Master Jiang sat on the sofa, glanced at Yang Yuting and her mother, and spoke in a deep voice. I wonder what brings you two here today. Everyone could see old Master Jiang's attitude, which was clearly one of dislike. He clearly disliked Yang Yuting, with no intention of hiding it. Mother Yang trembled under old Master Jiang's imposing presence. But as an elder, she couldn't just hide in her shell, so she had to brace herself and state her purpose. Old Master Jiang, it's like this. About the wedding, our Yuting knows she was wrong. She came here especially today to apologize to Jiang Chen and ask for his forgiveness. Old Master Jiang snorted coldly. Apologize? You hurt my grandson, and you think a simple apology will make it go away? What a nice thought. I spoke calmly. I wonder how Miss Yang plans to apologize to me today. Yang Yuting clenched her fists, lowered her head, and said through gritted teeth, I'm sorry, Jiang Chen, I shouldn't have. Before she could finish her words, she heard me let out a laugh as if I had heard a joke. So this is Miss Yang's apology. My face showed indifference, with a clear hint of sarcasm. The moment Mother Yang heard this, she knew the situation was not good, and hurriedly tried to mediate. Jiang Chen, don't be angry. Yuting is sincerely apologizing to you. It's just that this daughter of mine, she's always been clumsy and doesn't know how to say sweet things. How about this, Jiang Chen? Just say what you want. Even if you want to pluck the stars from the sky, Yuting will pluck them for you. Mother Yang was bragging. I chuckled. Auntie, you are a noble lady. You must have heard of an idiom, right? What? Bearing the rod to accept punishment. Mother Yang's face stiffened. Seeing Mother Yang's difficult position, I continued, didn't you just say, Auntie, that Yang Yuting came to sincerely apologize to me? Why doesn't it seem like it now? Was it just empty words? Mother Yang's expression froze, and she forced a smile. How could that be? Jiang Chen, you've misunderstood me. It's about bearing the rod to accept punishment, but there's no birch rod here. I tilted my head, and my next words made, Yang Yuting want to strangle me. Then let's do this. Forget about bearing the rod. Tell her to kneel and apologize to me. Mother Yang felt sorry for her daughter, subconsciously retorted, how can that be? I glanced at her and said, I, the great young master of the Jiang family, am I not worthy of it? Old Master Jiang had always doted on his grandson. The grandson of me, Jiang Hongtao, is of course worthy of anything. You won't do this, and you won't do that. I see that you two mother and daughter, basically, don't sincerely want to apologize to me. Xiaolan, see them out. Yang Yuting knew that if she left just like that today, she would probably never be able to step through the Jiang family's door again. Gritting her teeth, she knelt down before me with a thud. Jiang Chen, I was wrong. Forgive me. Yang Yuting finished speaking through her humiliation, looked up, a flash of red in her eyes, staring at me as she said, Are you satisfied now? I met Yang Yuting's resentful gaze and smiled. Miss Yang has personally knelt down. That is indeed sincere. Old Master Jiang frowned when he heard my words, but in the end, he said nothing more. Mother Yang, forgetting her daughter's pain, immediately tried to press her advantage. Of course, Jiang Chen, Yuting is sincerely apologizing to you. Look, the marriage between you two. Hearing this, I waved my hand. Of course, it's off. Mother Yang's face was full of astonishment. What do you mean, off? Old Master Jiang's furrowed brows relaxed a bit. In fact, he was a little worried his grandson would soften. After all, he had seen what Jiang Chen's feelings for young Yuting were like before. He had seen it all. Fortunately, Jiang Chen wasn't bewitched. He didn't disappoint him. Old Master Jiang was not disappointed, but Mother Yang and Yang Yuting were extremely disappointed. Mother Yang said hurriedly, No, Jiang Chen, how could you do this? Look, Yuting has already personally knelt to apologize to you. How can you? I interrupted her. Madam Yang, that day, Yang Yuting, as the bride, ran away during the wedding. Although it didn't get to the point of making me Jiang Chen, the laughingstock of all of Lanthen, it still damaged the reputation of our Jiang family. Wasn't this kneeling deserved? Hearing these words, Mother Yang's face stiffened, and she forced a smile. It was very deserved. It's just that, Jiang Chen, you and Yuting have had feelings for each other for many years. Before she finished speaking, I interrupted her again. Madam Yang, no matter how deep the feelings were, they all vanished on that wedding day. Mother Yang was completely speechless. Yang Yuting was still kneeling on the ground, her dark eyes suppressing her humiliation. A cold, low voice sounded out. Jiang Chen, you were the one who proposed not to marry first. Don't even think about blaming me. I put down the coffee cup in my hand, because before the wedding, I discovered that my fiancé was keeping a gigolo on the side, so in my anger, I suggested not getting married anymore. That's understandable, isn't it? Hearing this, Yang Yuting braced herself and said, "Are you really that heartless to sentence me to death and throw away all our years of feelings? Jiang Chen, I promise you, something like this will absolutely never happen again." I found these words extremely disgusting. It's because after she rose to power, she sent the original owner's ex-husband to a mental hospital and then directly remarried Jiang Yihan. Of course, the issue of infidelity didn't exist. Thinking of this, I casually said, "Oh." At this moment, she continued, "Jiang Chen, believe me, as long as you agree to marry me again, I will make you happy." I found it a little ironic. I smiled gently and slowly. "But what can be done? Yuting, I don't believe your words anymore." Yang Yuting asked, "Jiang Chen, what do I have to do for you to believe me again? How about this? This time, you pursue me instead. Whatever you want to eat, no matter if it's thousands of miles away, go buy it immediately. When you need me, I must be there immediately. If you say one, I won't say two. If you tell me to go east, I won't go west, south, or north. That kind of pursuit." After Yang Yuting heard this, she vaguely felt something was wrong. Is this a pursuit? Isn't this just being an errand girl for the great young master of the Zhang family? I lifted my chin. My questioning tone was just like a playboy's. "What, you don't agree?" Yang Yuting was in a predicament she couldn't get out of. Logically speaking, the request I made wasn't too outrageous. Their previous wedding had become a joke in Lanthan. To re-establish the marriage alliance, one side must bow their head. Regardless of gender or family status, the one to bow down had to be her. Even if her grandfather were here today, he would definitely make her agree. Jiang Chen's purpose? It didn't seem hard to understand. It was nothing more than wanting me to pursue him with great fanfare so that everyone in Lanthan could see the love I, Yang Yuting, have for him, Jiang Chen. But a flicker of unease still crossed Yang Yuting's mind. She always felt that if she agreed to my terms, she would fall into some kind of disadvantageous situation. I responded to Yang Yuting with a smile in my eyes. I thought to myself with malicious intent, "Do you really think this young master is giving you a chance to pursue him again? It's just a legitimate way to torture you, trample on you, and torment you." In the end, Yang Yuting had no way to refuse and nodded in agreement. Yang Yuting coming to the Zhang household to ask for forgiveness was considered halfway successful. Old Master Yang was naturally very happy and immediately had Yang Yuting's card unfrozen and returned the sports car and properties under her name, letting Yang Yuting use them as she pleased. Old Master Yang said happily, "Yuting, now that Jiang Chen is willing to give you a chance to pursue him again, it proves that he still has you in his heart. It's just that he is the young master of the richest family after all. If he just let this matter go so easily, even if Jiang Chen himself didn't mind, I'm afraid that old man from the Zhang family wouldn't agree. So this time you must give it your all and perform well, understand?" Yang Yuting nodded. "I know, grandfather." Next, Yang Yuting began to seriously pursue me. When I got off work, Yang Yuting came to the Huangtian Entertainment Building to pick me up. As soon as I walked out of the Huangtian Entertainment Building, Yang Yuting came forward and said, "Jiang Chen, I'm here to pick you up from work." I glanced at the bouquet of roses in Yang Yuting's arms and asked with disgust, "What is this?" Seeing that the man's expression was off, with no hint of happiness, Yang Yuting frowned and replied, "Roses." I said bluntly, "I'm not blind. Of course I know these are roses. I'm asking what you're giving this to me for. Are you trying to kill me?" Yang Yuting felt a bit angry that after she'd specially gone to a flower shop to buy a bouquet of roses, he was so ungrateful and felt a little angry. But she tried to suppress it. Hearing my last sentence, she was startled. She hurriedly frowned and explained, "Jiang Chen, what nonsense are you talking about? How could I want to harm you?" I glanced at her and said, "I'm allergic to roses, don't you know? You still deliberately gave me roses. If you're not trying to kill me, what are you doing?" The rose allergy was, of course, a lie. I made it up. Who would want a scumbag woman's roses? I find them dirty. Yang Yuting really didn't know. "Jiang Chen, you've misunderstood. I didn't know you were allergic to roses. You don't even know that I'm allergic to flowers? Yang Yuting, are you worthy of saying you love me? To give me happiness in the future?" My eyes were filled with contempt and disdain for Yang Yuting. Yang Yuting wanted to get angry, but then she remembered she couldn't afford to offend me now. She tried to suppress the fire of anger in her heart and slowly forced a smile. "Jiang Chen, it was my fault for not understanding you enough before. I didn't know you were allergic to roses. From now on, I will definitely love you well, and I will put you first in everything. Don't be angry anymore. You don't like roses, I'll just throw them away, okay?" At this moment, I suddenly spoke up. "Wait, I'm allergic to roses, but just throwing them away would be a real waste. So, how about you give this bouquet to Jiang Yihan? Make some use of this scrap." The words "make some use of this scrap" successfully made the smile on Yang Yuting's face disappear. Jiang Yihan was the man she liked. Telling her to give the roses I didn't want to Jiang Yihan and calling it making use of scrap. It was a blatant insult. Yang Yuting suppressed her anger and said, "Jiang Chen, that's all in the past. I no longer have any feelings for him now. You are the great young master of the Jiang family. There's really no need to be petty with Jiang Yihan. Besides, Jiang Yihan isn't even here right now. I sneered and pointed in a certain direction, the gesture a bit indifferent. Look, isn't that Jiang Yihan? Yang Yuting's heart trembled. She looked in the direction I pointed, and saw at the entrance of the Huangtian Entertainment Building, a man was standing not far away. He had probably heard everything she just said, and was looking at her with a heartbroken and incredulous expression. Yang Yuting couldn't help but call out, Yihan. She wanted to explain to him that things weren't as he heard. She was just lying to coax me. Even when Yang Yuting was down on her luck, living under the same roof as Jiang Yihan, there were some unpleasant minor conflicts. Of course, Jiang Yihan didn't openly argue with her, or say any harsh words, but Yang Yuting had also been annoyed by Jiang Yihan's constant complaining, and had asked herself many times if all of this was worth it. After enduring the humiliation and leaving Jiang Yihan, perhaps absence makes the heart grow fonder, Yang Yuting felt that the person she loved most was still Jiang Yihan. Now, seeing Jiang Yihan hurt by her words, she really wished she could hug him immediately and tell him it wasn't like that, but she couldn't. Yang Yuting looked deeply at Jiang Yihan, hoping he could understand her. Heartbroken, Jiang Yihan turned to leave. I called out in a loud voice, Jiang Yihan! Jiang Yihan turned back. CEO Jiang, what are your instructions? Hey, I'm allergic to the smell of these roses. Throwing them away is too wasteful. You take them. When I looked at the roses in Yang Yuting's hands, a clear look of disgust appeared in my eyes, as if Yang Yuting and the bouquet in her hands were some kind of garbage that was an eyesore to even look at. Jiang Yihan immediately felt insulted by me. He gritted his teeth and refused. CEO Jiang, I don't like roses. Before he finished speaking, he heard me let out a laugh, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. Jiang Yihan, I'm not negotiating with you or genuinely giving you roses. It's just that someone gave me roses and I'm allergic to them. You just happened to be passing by, so I'm telling you to help me dispose of this bouquet. You can take it home, or you can turn around and throw it away, understand? The implication was, who the hell cares if you like them or not? You're just someone for me to conveniently dispose of trash. These few sentences made Jiang Yihan's expression change. Suppressing the dissatisfaction in his heart, he took the bouquet and left. Yang Yuting silently gritted her teeth, her fingers clenched into a fist. She endured it. I sighed indifferently. Let's see how long you can endure this. I'm not in a hurry either. Besides, in the past decade or so, some of the Jiang family's and the Yang family's businesses were very intertwined. Even if old Master Jiang wanted to deal with the Yang family, it would still take time. Giving Yang Yuting a chance to pursue me again was just a pretext to deceive old Master Yang. The Jiang family had already started closing the net, just waiting for the final opportunity to bring down the Yang family. Of course, behind the scenes, one person's contribution was indispensable. Yang Siki. Yang Siki is the illegitimate daughter of the Yang family. She hated the Yang family. Her real goal was to overthrow the Yang Corporation, to bring the Yang family to ruin. When Yang Siki secretly came to me for a partnership, to show her sincerity, she revealed her old scars in front of me. It turned out that after Yang Siki's mother was violated by the head of the Yang family, she became pregnant with Yang Siki. At that time, old Master Yang used a sum of money to drive Yang Siki's mother away, but the Yang family culprit continued his debauched lifestyle, not even remembering her mother's name. Yang Siki bore the title of an illegitimate daughter since childhood. Her mother died early from depression, and she was raised solely by her maternal grandparents. She worked hard on her own and achieved some success in the financial world, which caught old Master Yang's attention. He said he wanted to acknowledge her. This so-called acknowledgement wasn't a negotiation with Yang Sichi. He directly offered a sum of money to buy out Yang Siki's affection for the two elderly people who had painstakingly raised her and even forced her to change her name to Yang Siki. This truly enraged Yang Siki. Yang Siki developed the idea of bringing down the Yang Corporation. If Yang Siki were to rely only on herself, this wish would probably take several years. So she took the initiative to find me, wanting to form an alliance with the Jiang family, to work from the inside and outside to bring down the Yang Corporation. Having an insider's help was naturally for the best. I had no reason to refuse. After we finished talking, Yang Siki left the CEO's office of Huangtian Entertainment, just in time to run into the approaching Yang Yuting. When Yang Yuting saw Yang Siki coming out of my CEO office, she glared at Yang Siki with hostile eyes and questioned her. It's you? Yang Siki, why are you here? Yang Siki smiled and said casually, as a representative of the Yang Corporation, I came here to discuss a partnership with CEO Jiang. I don't think I need to report every little detail to you, do I? Yang Siki's words and demeanor in Yang Yuting's eyes were a blatant show-off. She had to restrain herself from slapping Yang Siki across the face. But when she faced me, Yang Yuting was no longer so gentle. Her tone was impolite as she questioned me. Jiang Chen, what was Yang Siki doing here? Do you have some special relationship with her? She was just short of asking directly, are you having an affair with Yang Siki? I wasn't angry. I sneered. Yang Yuting, in what capacity are you questioning me? Let me name a title, fiancé or wife. It seems you're neither, right? Yang Yuting, right now you are at most just one of my many pursuers. Allowing you to hang around me is already a favor beyond the law. You have no right to interfere too much in my affairs. Understand? I humiliated Yang Yuting completely. If this were the Yang Yuting I used to spoil, she probably would have slammed the door and left long ago. Now, perhaps used to being tormented by me, Yang Yuting just gritted her teeth, squeezing a few words from between her teeth and replied word by word, I know. I treated Yang Yuting as ruthlessly as the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves, tormenting her a little from time to time, but treating the system's sweetheart was another matter. I was warmer and gentler than the spring breeze. I assigned a new manager to Gu Qingshui and personally demanded that she be promoted back to stardom. Those below me are yes men, so naturally, they drew up a complete plan for Gu Qingshui to clear her name and become famous again. Gu Qingshui was already an incredibly beautiful young woman, once a top idol in the entertainment industry. Her looks and talent were both there, so when she washed away the dirty rumors that had been spread about her, it was very easy for her to return to the public eye with a brand new image and win back the love of her fans. Regarding this, Gu Qingshui's heart remained calm. Someone who has been through the abyss, who has been in the darkness for a very long time, even if one day the starlight favors them again, they will no longer feel particularly excited. From an abandoned child shelved by Huangtian Entertainment, to returning to the position of the top sister at Huangtian Entertainment, Gu Qingshui's treatment within the company skyrocketed. When fellow artists in the company saw her, they all respectfully called her Sister Gu, including Jiang Yihan. Jiang Yihan no longer had anyone promoting him and could barely get a minor role and unimportant endorsements. Meanwhile, Gu Qingshui returned under the brilliant starlight. It was as if things had reverted to the time when she was just a new, minor artist in the industry, and he was the top idol superstar. Jiang Yihan once again put Gu Qingshui on a pedestal like an idol, and as a result, his feelings for Yang Yuting waned somewhat. Being in the same company, Jiang Yihan tried to find ways to approach Gu Qingshui. After Gu Qingshui's manager found out, he told Gu Qingshui to stay away from him. This Jiang Yihan secretly seduced the director of the Young Corporation before, who was also our young master's fiancé, and gravely offended the young master. The young master has ordered for Jiang Yihan to be blacklisted, and any artist close to Jiang Yihan will not have a good end. Jiang Yihan probably wants to use you to create a scandal, to leech off your fame. Qingshui, you need to be careful. You can't let Jiang Yihan achieve his goal. Right now, you are the artist the higher-ups have personally named for promotion, although I don't know why, but it wasn't easy for you to get to where you are today. You can't let a man like Jiang Yihan ruin it. Got it? Unless it's a special case, artists can't meet the CEO, so even Gu Qingshui still doesn't know that the new CEO of Huangtian Entertainment is me. I ordered for Gu Qingshui to be promoted. Everyone in the company just thought it was the young master's whim, or that he had a keen eye and couldn't bear to see a precious gem covered in dust. They didn't think we had any other kind of relationship. Because we had never met in the company, it gave people even less reason to speculate about an unusual relationship. Gu Qingshui took her manager's words to heart. Her crystal-clear eyes flickered slightly. She heard that the big shot who had blacklisted her back then was the director of the Yang Corporation, Yang Yuting, and Jiang Yihan, who had repeatedly used excuses to approach her, seemed to say that he was her fan. Could there be some connection between all this? The intelligent young woman's mind sharply realized there must be a hidden story. If it was really as she guessed, then it was just too ridiculous. The beautiful girl pressed her delicate rose-red lips together. I know, I'll stay away from Jiang Yihan from now on. The manager nodded in satisfaction. He was about to say something else when he heard Gu Qingshui add another sentence. I already have a boyfriend. I can't let him misunderstand. When she mentioned her boyfriend, the girl's eyes became gentle and bright, and the corners of her mouth curved up slightly. The manager was shocked. What? His eyes widened, staring at the fairy-like beautiful girl. His voice also changed due to agitation. You have a boyfriend? The manager quickly covered his mouth, lowered his voice, but his tone still couldn't hide his excitement. Since when? Who is your boyfriend? Why haven't I ever heard you mention it? Do you know that idols are not allowed to date? Gu Qingshui ignored the manager's last question and answered the first two. Not long ago. He is a very handsome boy. The manager ran his hands through his hair in frustration. I can tell you're deeply in love just by looking at you. Gu Qingshui didn't deny it. The manager nagged. Sister Gu, do you know that the fact that you have a boyfriend, that you're dating, if your fans find out, do you know what huge consequences it will cause? Gu Qingshui nodded. I know, it's just losing everything I have now, and going back to how it was before. The manager immediately showed a disappointed expression. You know, and you still. Gu Qingshui's eyes were bright and firm. I had nothing before, walking alone in a dark abyss. He reached out to me and became the light of my life. He is the only one, an irreplaceable existence. Even if I fall into the abyss again, as long as I hold on to the light, there will be no more darkness. I would rather give up what I have and let go of his hand. The manager fell silent after hearing this. He was the new manager the company assigned to Gu Qingshui. The story of how Gu Qingshui went from a top idol to a has-been star, full of scandals, he knew it well. Her previous managers openly threatened her, and the fans who said they would love her for a lifetime, never leaving her, eventually left her, and even turned from fans to haters. Even if he hadn't experienced these things himself, he could imagine the darkness and despair involved. If at this time there really was a man who dispelled the darkness and brought Gu Qingshui a ray of light, anyone would surely hold on tight, because this is light and also salvation. The manager was not a heartless person, and in the end he didn't force Gu Qingshui to break up with her boyfriend, only saying in a low voice, "Then you must protect him well. With your status as a star, dating already faces many obstacles. If the other person is an outsider, it's very easy for them to get hurt. This harm comes from your fans." Gu Qingshui pressed her lips together and nodded with a soft mom. The manager continued speaking. "Huangtian Entertainment decided to promote you again. They probably value your commercial worth. Whether you have a boyfriend or not isn't the most important thing. Actually, don't just look at the company contract that says, artists are not allowed to date for 5 years. Very few people actually follow it. But as your manager, you still have to tell me your boyfriend's identity first, so I can be mentally prepared. In case something happens later, we can think of a contingency plan in advance." On this point, Gu Qingshui knew the manager was right. She hadn't intended to hide it anyway. It's just that the manager didn't ask at first, and Gu Qingshui has a reserved and introverted personality, so she wouldn't proactively and loudly tell the whole world that she has a boyfriend. Now that the manager had asked, Gu Qingshui had no reason to hide it. The manager asked, "Is he a star in the industry or an outsider?" Gu Qingshui said, "An outsider, but more handsome than most male stars in the entertainment industry." Gu Qingshui silently added this sentence in her heart. As long as it's a star in the industry, the manager can name them. "An outsider, huh? What's his name? Call him over sometime. You'll meet him once." Gu Qingshui's expression immediately became wary, as if the manager was coveting some treasure of hers. "Meet for what?" The manager was both annoyed and amused. Okay. Don't look like I'm about to steal your precious treasure. I just want to give him a heads up about a few things. The other party is an outsider, not a star, so he doesn't understand some of the rules in the entertainment industry. What if he goes around showing off to others that he's your boyfriend and causes trouble? Wouldn't I have to clean up the mess? So I have to talk to him beforehand. You make it sound like he's the type to cause trouble. Gu Qingshui defended him. "Jiang Chen is not that kind of person. I know you love your boyfriend, but what did you say?" The manager caught the way Gu Qingshui said her boyfriend's name, Jiang Chen. The manager thought of the newly appointed male CEO of Huangtian Entertainment, the young master of the wealthiest Jiang family. Isn't his name precisely Jiang Chen? It can't be that much of a coincidence, can it? But the previous blacklisting order against Gu Qingshui was issued by the young lady of the Yang family. If it wasn't this young master, who would dare to be so bold as to lift the ban and promote Gu Qingshui again? The manager swallowed, startled by his own speculation. He felt it was impossible, but he couldn't help but ask. "Qingshui, what is your boyfriend's full name?" "Jiang Chen," Gu Qingshui said softly. The manager today experienced the feeling of being struck by lightning from the inside out for the second time in his life. Gu Qingshui saw that the manager's expression was off. "What's wrong with you?" As soon as the manager opened his mouth, it was filled with uncontrollable excitement. "You dare ask me what's wrong?" "You quietly managed to hook the young master." The manager's face beamed with joy. Even if Gu Qingshui was only temporarily the girlfriend of the Jiang family's young master for a while, as long as they didn't break up messily in the end, it would be enough for Gu Qingshui to have smooth sailing in the entertainment industry for the rest of her life. When the company initially assigned him to Gu Qingshui's side to be her manager, they probably valued him. He never expected to have such a great opportunity. Gu Qingshui frowned again, catching the strange words from the manager's mouth. "Young master? Which young master?" Gu Qingshui didn't proactively ask about my identity. The latter's information was always very well protected. People only knew that the wealthiest Jiang family in Lanthan had a young master, but they didn't know his name or what he looked like. Even the most omnipotent Baidu Baike didn't have a single photo of this young master of the Jiang family. The wedding that shook all of Lanthan initially had invited media reporters, which was considered my first public appearance. But because the bride Yang Yuting ran away, it brought shame to the Jiang family. Old Master Jiang doted on his grandson, so naturally he wouldn't allow his grandson to become the subject of everyone's after-dinner gossip. So he ordered the media not to reveal any information about me. The status of the wealthiest tycoon in Lanthan was significant. His words carried immense weight, and no media company dared to risk bankruptcy to challenge the authority of the Jiang family. Therefore, information about this wealthiest young master is known only to a very few people in Lanthan's high society. After that, I asked Old Master Jiang for the position of CEO at Huangtian Entertainment, appearing before everyone, but only the senior management of Huangtian Entertainment knew. The artists below only knew that the company had a newly appointed CEO with the surname Jiang. Gu Qingshui was a newly popular artist again. She hadn't had the opportunity to be exposed to matters only known to the higher-ups. Furthermore, Gu Qingshui wasn't curious and had a reserved personality, so it's not surprising that she still didn't know the real name of the CEO of Huangtian Entertainment. The manager looked at Gu Qingshui with a strange expression. "Hey, don't tell me you still don't know who Jiang Chen is?" Gu Qingshui pursed her lips. "I only know he's my boyfriend." The manager cursed inwardly. It seemed that his artist really didn't know her boyfriend was the young master of the wealthiest Jiang family. The young master's taste was truly unique. Was he playing a role-playing game, pretending to be a commoner to pursue a celebrity girlfriend? The corner of the manager's mouth twitched, and he proceeded to educate his artist. Jiang Chen, the young master of the Jiang family in Lanthon, grandson of the wealthiest tycoon Jiang Hongtao, is also the current new CEO of Huangthian Entertainment. King Shui, do you know what his identity is now? Do you know you've hit the jackpot? With young master Jiang backing you, what do you have to worry about not being famous in the entertainment industry? Gu Qingshui's expression was calm and composed, but a storm was raging in her heart. So Jiang Chen's identity is the young master of the Jiang family? In that case, my blacklisting being lifted and being valued again by Huangthian Entertainment was all because of Jiang Chen. Gu Qingshui pressed her lips tightly with only one thought in her mind now. That is, I want to see him, right now. The CEO's office of Huangthian Entertainment is on the 33rd floor, the top floor. Ordinary artists are not allowed to enter freely. Even as a former top idol, Gu Qingshui was no exception. But Gu Qingshui insisted on going up, so the manager had to take Gu Qingshui to the 33rd floor. As soon as they got into the elevator, they happened to meet Yang Yuting, who was also in the elevator, seemingly also heading to the CEO's office on the 33rd floor. Gu Qingshui's heart was filled with only that person. She didn't even spare Yang Yuting a glance. Yang Yuting recognized Gu Qingshui. Because Zhang Yihan liked this female idol, Yang Yuting had been jealous of Gu Qingshui many times before, even though they had no interaction in real life. It's you? Yang Yuting looked at Gu Qingshui appraisingly. Even with her critical and arrogant eyes, she had to admit that the girl's appearance and aura were both excellent, perfectly fitting for an idol. Yang Yuting frowned and thought to herself, didn't I order this Gu Qingshui to be blacklisted? Why does Gu Qingshui still look like an idol star, seemingly unaffected at all? Gu Qingshui's mind was in turmoil, and she didn't pay attention to Yang Yuting's "it's you." Being ignored by Gu Qingshui, Yang Yuting couldn't help but get angry. How dare she ignore her? It was the manager who stepped in to mediate. Miss Yang, what a coincidence to meet you here. Do you know our Qingshui? Yang Yuting was fuming and said with a cold smile, she's just an entertainer. Who would want to know her? Just you wait. She would immediately have this Gu Qingshui blacklisted again. The manager forced a smile but couldn't help but pout and think to himself, what's there to be arrogant about? What's there to be proud of? No matter how arrogant you are, the fiancé young master Jiang whom you failed to win back is our Qingshui's boyfriend. Humph. The manager and Yang Yuting were in a standoff. Gu Qingshui only then came back to her senses. Hearing the manager call Yang Yuting, Miss Yang, could this be Jiang Chen's ex-fiancé? Gu Qingshui's gaze shifted slightly, sizing up Yang Yuting a few times, and after discovering that the other's looks and figure were both inferior to her own, she felt relieved. Arriving at the 33rd floor, Yang Yuting stepped out of the elevator first. The girl and her manager walked slowly behind. The manager lowered his voice. Don't you worry, even if Miss Yang and Jiang Chen get married for business later, Jiang Chen was your boyfriend after all, he won't let Miss Yang harm you again. Hearing this, Gu Qingshui frowned slightly. A marriage alliance? Why a marriage alliance? Silly girl, the Yang family and the Jiang family are both prestigious families in Lanthon, and the two of them are childhood sweethearts, so of course they have to have a marriage alliance. The manager glanced at Gu Qingshui. Don't tell me you still want to marry the young master someday? Gu Qingshui said nothing. The manager patted her shoulder and said seriously, Qingshui, be realistic. The young master and you are not from the same world. Dating is fine, but for marriage one must still find someone of equal social standing. I heard Miss Yang is pursuing the young master now, trying to win back the young master's heart. They are childhood sweethearts. Who knows? One day they might reconcile. You, don't be too serious. You should be more open-minded about things. Don't force it. Gu Qingshui, who had been silent until now, suddenly lifted her eyes gently. Her crystal-clear eyes held a deep color as she looked at the manager. What if I insist? When Gu Qingshui said this, her eyes revealed a hint of stubbornness. This girl with a cold and calm personality finally showed her possessiveness about something. The manager's eyes widened. Qingshui, what do you want to do? You absolutely must not act rashly, leaving the manager's panicked shouts behind. She walked a few steps to the CEO's office and pushed aside Yang Yuting, who was talking to me. Hearing someone open the door and walk in, I turned my head and saw it was Gu Qingshui, frowned unhappily and asked, Why are you here? Don't you know how to knock? Besides, this isn't a place an artist should be. Yang Yuting acted as if she owned the place, shooing Gu Qingshui away. I saw Gu Qingshui when she suddenly appeared on the 33rd floor of Huangthian Entertainment. A flash of surprise crossed my eyes but was quickly concealed. I knew Gu Qingshui must have known my true identity. I had never intentionally hidden it, so I had nothing to feel guilty about. Yang Yuting spoke up. I didn't immediately open my mouth, wanting to see the girl's attitude. Gu Qingshui coolly replied to Yang Yuting with a question. This isn't a place an artist like me should be, so is it a place Miss Yang can come and go as she pleases? At this point, Gu Qingshui looked directly at Yang Yuting, her faint gaze holding little emotion, cold and indifferent. But the words that came from her slightly parted lips made Yang Yuting feel like she was being mocked. As far as I know, Miss Yang doesn't seem to hold any position currently, so it's not like you're here to see young Master Jiang for work. As for personal matters, the engagement between Miss Yang and young Master Jiang was cancelled long ago, and it was because Miss Yang had an affair with a minor star in the entertainment industry, So it seems there's no reason for you to have the audacity to come and bother young Master Jiang. Am I right, Miss Yang? Gu Qingshui didn't say anything overly harsh, her tone neither fast nor slow, but she successfully and accurately hit Yang Yuting's sore spot. I rested my chin on my hand and watched her with interest, a girl showing a hint of sharpness, completely different from her usual reserved and cold demeanor. A girl showing a hint of sharpness. I seemed to be in a very good mood, and had no intention of stopping the girl. On the contrary, I adopted a leisurely posture to watch the good show. Yang Yuting's expression was like a cat, whose sore spot had been stepped on hard, becoming extremely unsightly. Her gaze was cold and full of hostility, fiercely glaring at Gu Qingshui as she questioned, "Who the hell are you? My business with Jiang then. What right do you have to interfere? In what capacity are you interfering?" Hearing this, Gu Qingshui didn't back down. Instead, she took a few steps to the man's side, and under Yang Yuting's astonished gaze, she bent down and kissed me on the lips. Then she stood up straight, glanced slightly at Yang Yuting, and Gu Qingshui said softly, "Unfortunately, I am Jiang Then's girlfriend, so those words should be for you." Yang Yuting's pupils suddenly dilated, her eyes looking at the scene before her in disbelief. She felt like she was going crazy. Jiang Then, he dared to cheat on her, and cheated on her right in front of her face. Feeling like she'd been thoroughly cuckolded, Yang Yuting immediately looked at me. Her furious gaze looked like it wanted to strangle me to death. She fumed and questioned, "Jiang Then, don't you think you should explain this to me?" I found it amusing and asked in return, "I wonder what Miss Yang wants me to explain to you." Still playing dumb with me, Yang Yuting pointed directly at Gu Qingshui. "What's the deal with her?" I wasn't the least bit guilty. I smiled brightly and pulled the girl to sit beside me, having Gu Qingshui share the same chair, looking quite like a big boss holding his young wife. As you can see, she's my girlfriend. I tilted my head, gave Gu Qingshui a light kiss on the cheek, and raised an eyebrow with a smile at Yang Yuting. "Does Miss Yang have any other questions?" Yang Yuting's face turned pale with anger. "Jiang Then, if she's your girlfriend, then what am I? What is this fiancé of yours? What the hell are you? Allow me to remind Miss Yang, you are no longer my fiancé." I glanced at Yang Yuting with contempt. "So, an unmarried man and an unmarried woman? I'm just in a normal relationship? I have a girlfriend? Don't act as if I cheated on you." Yang Yuting's face darkened considerably. "So, Jiang Then, you're playing me." I let him pursue me. She thought I had softened, that I still had feelings for him. So I gave him a chance to pursue me. During this time, Yang Yuting had been very patient, enduring all sorts of my tempers. Who knew that I had already been seeing this female star, and that I had just been deceiving her recently? Me, Jiang Then, you're a bastard, a scumbag. You've been playing me all this time. The look in Yang Yuting's eyes made it seem like she wanted to eat me alive. Under that gaze, I retorted as if I was watching a show and not afraid of stirring up trouble. "You're only realizing it now? How stupid. After being humiliated by me, it would be strange if Yang Yuting stayed." Yang Yuting slammed the door and left. In the CEO's office on the 33rd floor of Huangthian Entertainment, only Gu Qingshui and I were left. One chair, two people sitting on it. It wasn't very spacious. Gu Qingshui had acted on impulse earlier, showing her affection in front of Yang Yuting. Now, in the cold-toned office space, serious and formal, only the two of them were left. Sitting next to me, the girl so close to me suddenly felt uncomfortable all over. She panicked a little and wanted to stand up, but I reached out and pulled her back, making her sit down. I smiled and said, "Are you angry with me?" Gu Qingshui softly said no and reflexively turned her head, her lips happening to touch mine. Gu Qingshui froze, probably not expecting something like that to happen, even holding her breath, frozen in place, not moving. My lips pressed against the girl's and I smiled and said, "Hey, this is a wonderful accident, isn't it? Don't be angry anymore." Gu Qingshui turned away, opened her mouth and said, "I'm not. I've never been angry with you. How could I be? Really?" I lifted her face, turning Gu Qingshui's face towards me so she would look into my eyes. "You're really not angry? I hid from you about my identity. You're not angry?" Gu Qingshui answered in a whisper, but her voice was very firm. "I never asked you in the first place." She looked straight into my eyes and said softly, "So it doesn't count as hiding it." A flash of joy passed through my heart. Although even if Gu Qingshui was angry about me hiding my identity, I could have easily coaxed her back, but it would have been somewhat boring. But now, this mutual understanding made me happy. I gently kissed the goddess girl. "You're so good." Gu Qingshui resisted the urge to kiss back, her heart still worried about something else. "That Yang Yuting. Is it okay for us to be like this? Everyone says the Yang family and the Jiang family are a perfect match, that Jiang Then and Yang Yuting are childhood sweethearts, and will be united by marriage." Yang Yuting didn't look happy when she left earlier. I'm afraid she won't let this go easily. Gu Qingshui came from an ordinary background. She didn't understand the grudges between wealthy families, but she was worried about me. "You don't need to worry. Since I dared to do it, I'm not afraid of revenge from Yang Yuting or the Yang family." So as not to let the girl worry about this, I told her a few things. In Land City, in terms of power and wealth, the Yang family is far inferior to the Jiang family. The Yang family's current status is largely thanks to the Jiang family. Dealing with the Yang family might have taken some time, but now there's someone in the Yang group that old man Yang would never expect. That person wants to overthrow the Yang family even more than I do. With this inside man, taking down the Yang family will be as easy as flipping my hand. After hearing this, Gu Qingshui pursed her lips. That's good then. She was relieved. I slowly asked, don't you hate Yang Yuting? You should know that Yang Yuting did all those things to you, right? Hate? I don't. Love and hate are both precious emotions. She wouldn't waste them on an unimportant person, like Yang Yuting. Gu Qingshui was just curious about one thing. Why did Yang Yuting target me? I answered word by word. Because of Jiang Yihan. Jiang Yihan. If the manager hadn't mentioned this name today, Gu Qingshui wouldn't have known someone named Jiang Yihan. Of course, it was just a matter of knowing the name. Gu Qingshui spoke up. I don't know him. Back when she was a top idol, Gu Qingshui wouldn't have paid attention to a nobody like Jiang Yihan. Later, when she was blacklisted and her career declined, Jiang Yihan became famous, but Gu Qingshui didn't pay much attention to the changes in the entertainment industry. She didn't know why she was targeted and blacklisted by Yang Yuting, inexplicably because of a stranger named Jiang Yihan. I cleared up Gu Qingshui's confusion. Jiang Yihan is your fan. At first, Gu Qingshui didn't react, wondering what Yang Yuting targeting her had to do with Jiang Yihan being her fan, until Gu Qingshui remembered that Yang Yuting seemed to be in a relationship with Jiang Yihan. She was immediately rendered speechless. This Yang Yuting, is there something wrong with her head? It was the first time the cold beauty had been so sharp-tongued, but she had keenly spoken the truth. Yang Yuting really did have something wrong with her head. I chuckled and said in agreement, she really does have something wrong with her head. Otherwise, she wouldn't have, along with Jiang Yihan, blacklisted you out of jealousy over him being your fan. But in the end, it's still because your face is too beautiful, attracting unwanted attention. Gu Qingshui pursed her lips, her cold demeanor rarely showing a hint of childishness. Can you blame me for that? Seeing her aggrieved look, I quickly comforted her. No blame, no blame. Our girl is so beautiful. If there's anyone to blame, it's Jiang Yihan for his ulterior motives and that crazy Yang Yuting. Mentioning Yang Yuting, there was always a thorn in Gu Qingshui's heart. Jiang then, do you like Yang Yuting? Gu Qingshui's delicate eyelashes drooped, and after asking this question, she didn't dare to look into my eyes. I lifted her face and looked straight at her. Are you jealous? I knew the girl's personality was cold yet pure and shy, so in response to my question, she would probably remain silent. I hadn't expected to hear any sweet nothings from the lips of my sweet goddess. Who knew I would hear Gu Qingshui say softly, yes. About the fact that Yang Yuting was once your fiancé, I am very jealous. I know I shouldn't be, that I appeared late in your life, many years too late, and I can't blame anyone, but I'm still jealous. It was the first time Gu Qingshui had been so frank about her feelings in front of me. I quite liked this. I'm really starting to like my sweet goddess more and more. I kissed her on the forehead, looked at her and said, you don't need to be jealous. Now you are mine, and now I am also yours. As for Yang Yuting, just consider that my eyes were bad before, very naive, and I misjudged someone. I was talking about the original owner, so I felt no psychological pressure. After all, from my perspective, for the original owner to let himself fall into such a miserable state, because of a woman like Yang Yuting, there was only one word for it, stupid. But Gu Qingshui didn't know the person I was talking about wasn't me. Don't talk about yourself like that. Gu Qingshui said it was Yang Yuting's fault. From now on, I will treat you well. I won't be like Yang Yuting. I smiled and said, then I'll wait and see. Sometime later, the Yang Group declared bankruptcy at a near-collapse speed. Old man Yang had spent his whole life working hard to develop the Yang Group, to bring the Yang family to new heights. For this, he schemed for many years, even having his granddaughter, Yang Yuting, cozy up to the young master of the wealthiest Zhang family since childhood. But in the end, the Yang family was ruined. It could be said that it was ruined at the hands of his two good granddaughters, one directly, one indirectly. Old man Yang couldn't bear this shock and fell ill. With the Yang family facing such a major upheaval, and old man Yang, the pillar, having fallen, the long-standing wealthy Yang family thus disappeared from the sight of Land City's high society. The Yang family was no more, and this time Yang Yuting was no longer Miss Yang. All her savings and properties were seized and auctioned by the bank. This time she truly became penniless. With nowhere to turn, Yang Yuting thought of her true love, Jiang Yihan, and knocked on the door of the small, shabby apartment that Jiang Yihan was renting. When Jiang Yihan opened the door and saw who it was, his face stiffened. Because it wasn't just Yang Yuting who came, but also Yang Yuting's mother, Mrs. Yang. The shirt on Yang Yuting was wrinkled, as if she hadn't changed in days. There were also red streaks in her deep black eyes. Her whole person looked exactly like a fallen lady. The eyes under Yang Yuting's black hair had an added touch of melancholy, her deep gaze fixed on Jiang Yihan. Yihan, you must have heard about what happened to the Yang family, right? Jiang Yihan pursed his lips and nodded lightly. Yuting, don't be sad. I believe you can definitely overcome this difficulty. Yang Yuting gave a bitter smile and said slowly, Yihan, my mother and I have nowhere to go now. Can we stay at your place for a while? Saying such words, for Yang Yuting, was undoubtedly like, in front of the man she loved, personally breaking every proud bone in her body, which was extremely painful. A flicker of stiffness passed over Jiang Yihan's face. Letting Yang Yuting stay was already a bit reluctant for him, and now he had to let Yang Yuting's mother stay too. A rich wife who seemed very unapproachable. In his heart, Jiang Yihan wanted to refuse, but after all, Yang Yuting was his true love, at least for now. Zhang Yihan looked at Yang Yuting and couldn't bring himself to say no. He had to let Yang Yuting and her mother into the house. As soon as Mrs. Yang stepped in wearing high heels, she was full of disgust as she criticized Zhang Yihan's apartment. How can anyone live in such a small place? My bathroom is bigger than this room, and this floor is filthy. I don't know how many days it hasn't been cleaned. It's like a dump. After hearing this, Zhang Yihan's expression naturally soured. She meant that she was living in a bathroom. Mrs. Yang clearly didn't recognize her own status, still thinking she was the same imposing, rich wife from before. She stood with her arms crossed, doing nothing, ordering Zhang Yihan to clean the apartment from front to back, inside and out, top to bottom. She also complained that the spare bedroom was small and made Zhang Yihan give her the master bedroom. After finishing everything to the point where he could barely stand up straight, Zhang Yihan lay on the bed in the spare bedroom, feeling extremely wronged. When Mrs. Yang was ordering Zhang Yihan around, Yang Yuting didn't say a single word. It was only at this moment that she hugged and kissed Zhang Yihan and said pitifully, "Yihan, this has been hard on you. My mom's personality is like that. Don't mind her. Just give in to her a little." Yang Yuting and Mrs. Yang completely had no sense that they were overstaying their welcome. Because in the eyes of Yang Yuting or Mrs. Yang, Zhang Yihan would eventually marry her. Mrs. Yang would sooner or later be his mother-in-law. As a son-in-law, giving in to his mother-in-law a little was no problem. When Mrs. Yang ordered Zhang Yihan, she thought to herself that if the Yang group hadn't gone bankrupt, if the Yang family hadn't declined, and if she didn't have anywhere to turn, she wouldn't have accepted this son-in-law. Being able to marry up to her daughter was Zhang Yihan's good fortune. What was wrong with her ordering Zhang Yihan around a little? Yang Yuting and Mrs. Yang took this for granted, but in his heart, Zhang Yihan was deeply resentful and felt extremely wronged. Who would want to marry Yang Yuting? The Yang family was bankrupt now, and he, Zhang Yihan, was young, handsome, and a minor star. He didn't have to hang himself on a single tree like Yang Yuting. Okay? Yang Yuting was arrogant and determined to restore her family's name, so she coaxed Zhang Yihan into taking out his savings to do business, and as a result, she lost most of the money Zhang Yihan had earned over the past few years. Most of the money Zhang Yihan had earned over the years was lost. Not only did Yang Yuting have no intention of paying it back, she even wanted to ask Zhang Yihan for more money, just saying to give her one more chance, that this time she would definitely be able to start over. When it came to money, Zhang Yihan broke free from the ranks of love-struck male leads and couldn't possibly give the remaining money to Yang Yuting for a risky gamble. He tried to persuade Yang Yuting, saying it even though he knew she wouldn't be happy. "Yuting, the Zhang family is determined to deal with you. They won't let you start over. Why don't you just obediently go out and find a job?" After a big fight with Zhang Yihan, Yang Yuting seemed to have given up on the idea of reviving the Yang family and started looking for a job. With Yang Yuting's resume, a graduate from a prestigious foreign university, majoring in finance, it wasn't hard to find a good job in Land City. The Zhang family wouldn't go so far as to prevent Yang Yuting from finding a job, driving her to a dead end, and leaving room for gossip. Who would have thought that while Yang Yuting's submitted resume was impressive, the position she applied for was general manager? What company is short of a general manager? Please stop joking around, will you? As one can imagine, all the resumes Yang Yuting submitted were met with silence. To tell her to start from the bottom at a company, Yang Yuting would never accept it, because her pride wouldn't allow her to work for someone else at their company. Over time, the unemployed Yang Yuting could only rely on Zhang Yihan for support. Zhang Yihan was no longer a famous star, having returned to his original state before fame. He could only take on extra roles, and his income was worlds apart from before. Yang Yuting and her mother, especially Mrs. Yang, were extravagant spenders, and now, living in Zhang Yihan's apartment, she didn't know how to restrain herself. Because Mrs. Yang considered herself the future mother-in-law of Zhang Yihan, she felt that spending a little of Zhang Yihan's money was no big deal. If it weren't for the Yang family going bankrupt, Zhang Yihan wouldn't even dream of setting foot in the Yang family's home. Now that Zhang Yihan had the chance to show respect to this mother-in-law, it was Zhang Yihan's honor. With a superior attitude, Mrs. Yang on one hand despised Zhang Yihan in her heart, and on the other, asked him for spending money. She bought all sorts of things. Her life couldn't compare to before, but it could still be considered luxurious. Zhang Yihan had no choice but to grit his teeth and try to act in films. He couldn't get any good roles, so he could only play the role of the villainous supporting male lead in films. Over time, he seemed to have become an expert in playing villainous supporting male leads. Compared to Zhang Yihan's rocky career, Gu Qingshui's path in the entertainment industry was paved with flowers. In just one short year, Gu Qingshui had returned to her position as a top idol, more famous than before, with more fans than before. Zhang Yihan had once, from afar, seen her once at the Huangtian Entertainment headquarters. The idol's beauty seemed to have become even greater, and her aura grew more elegant and noble with time. One look, and he felt unworthy. He had thought about approaching Gu Qingshui, no longer harboring those unspeakable, ridiculous thoughts, just wanting to approach his idol as a fan. But Gu Qingshui's manager seemed to have a bad impression of him and was very guarded. In the end, Zhang Yihan still couldn't get close to her. There was a time when he was so close to her. Now, even just saying a word to her had become a luxury. Jiang Yihan could only see her on TV or search for her presence in variety shows, buying Gu Qingshu's posters and albums. Yang Yuting and her mother lived in Jiang Yihan's apartment. Jiang Yihan's actions of chasing his idol, of course, did not escape Yang Yuting's eyes. Before, when Yang Yuting was still the president of the Yang family group, it was also because Jiang Yihan liked Gu Qingshui that she became jealous, even though that affection was just a fans for an idol. Now that Yang Yuting was no longer a rich young lady, and Jiang Yihan brought another woman's posters and albums home, it stabbed the self-esteem of the now sensitive and arrogant Yang Yuting. Jiang Yihan, what do you mean by this? You like this woman, don't you? Because the Yang family went bankrupt, and I, Yang Yuting, have fallen from grace. You've had a change of heart, haven't you? Before, when Yang Yuting was jealous, she could have Gu Qingshu cancelled with a single sentence. Now she can't do anything. She can only use words to vent her anger and dissatisfaction. Jiang Yihan, let me tell you, it's useless for you to like her. You think she was cancelled by me back then. So why could she become famous again? Wasn't it because she seduced Jiang Chen? My good fiancée from back then, Yang Yuting, now hates me to the bone. Whenever she mentions me, with every single word, she grinds her teeth. Jiang Yihan was stunned hearing what Yang Yuting said. If Gu Qingshui is the white moonlight of his heart, then to some extent, I can be considered the person he hates most in his life. When he was Yang Yuting's boy toy, I occupied the position of Yang Yuting's fiancée. He became someone who couldn't be seen in the light. A rather inglorious existence. Not to mention I later had him cancelled just by saying so. So when he heard that the man he hates most in his life had an ambiguous relationship with the moonlight goddess of his heart, an ambiguous relationship that was not simple at all, Jiang Yihan completely exploded. Impossible. Impossible. You're lying. Jiang Yihan kept shaking his head, looking quite frantic. Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan now could be considered mutually disgusted. Seeing Jiang Yihan like this, she wasn't very surprised, just stunned for a moment by Jiang Yihan's frantic state, then immediately reacted with a cold laugh. I'm lying? I saw it with my own eyes. The idol you long for day and night is very fawning and flattering in front of Jiang Chen. Jiang Yihan's mood at this moment must have been, damn it, my world is collapsing. He slapped Yang Yuting and told her to get lost, then ran out with his face buried in his hands. After running out, Jiang Yihan realized, looking around, that he had nowhere to go. In the end, he walked into a bar, ordered the strongest liquor, and drank to drown his sorrows. The next day, the hungover Jiang Yihan woke up, clutching his aching head, and found himself in a strange woman's bed. It was no less than being struck by lightning. That strange woman was in her 40s. She recognized Jiang Yihan and sweet-talked him. I've liked you for a long time, don't worry. He'll definitely take responsibility and treat you well. Besides the fact that Jiang Yihan was no longer as famous as before, as a boy toy, Jiang Yihan was still very much up to standard, young, handsome, and fresh. The people I sent to follow Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan came back and reported this, including the fact that Jiang Yihan had a huge fight with Yang Yuting over Gu Qingshui last night, ran to a bar and got drunk, was picked up by a rich middle-aged woman, and the two of them slept together. I later heard that Jiang Yihan was kept by that middle-aged woman for a while, becoming her secret lover, while on the other hand, not cleanly breaking it off with Yang Yuting, still entangled with her. That rich lady didn't treat Jiang Yihan badly. Enjoying his young, fresh body, she didn't mistreat him at all, giving Jiang Yihan several $100,000 a month for pocket money, and even found Jiang Yihan some resources in the entertainment industry. Jiang Yihan finally no longer had to play extras or villainous supporting male roles. His fame seemed to be picking up a little, but the good days were short-lived. Jiang Yihan's sugar mama was a married woman. The sugar mama's husband confronted Jiang Yihan, not even giving his wife any face, and dealt with him directly. Jiang Yihan's acting career, which had just started to pick up, immediately suffered a crushing defeat. A third party in any situation is someone everyone wants to beat down. Yang Yuting also couldn't forgive Jiang Yihan for betraying her. She was so angry that she slapped Jiang Yihan, her eyes shot with red veins, gritting her teeth and cursing. You bastard, Jiang Yihan. For you I didn't even marry Jiang Chen, and this is how you treat me? Betraying me and cheating on me with such an old woman? Aren't you disgusted? If it weren't for you, how would I, from the young lady of the Yang family, the high and mighty one, have fallen to this state? If it weren't for you, I would still be the daughter-in-law of the wealthiest Jiang family now, married to Jiang Chen. Later, the entire Jiang family would be mine. Jiang Yihan, you deserve to die. With things having come to this, Jiang Yihan didn't have much shame left either. Towards Yang Yuting, who only knew how to ask him for money, he was also thoroughly disgusted with her, and retorted sarcastically without holding back. Yang Yuting, you did that for me? You did it for yourself. It's obvious you were dissatisfied with your grandfather's arrangement, unwilling to stoop to please the young master of the Jiang family, and be called a woman with no taste, but you had no way to defy your grandfather's orders, so you had to court me. I was just an excuse for you to use the name of true love so you could righteously rebel against your grandfather. Why was the Yang family destroyed? Don't you know in your heart? If it weren't for your grandfather's bottomless greed, scheming to use the marriage to plot against the Jiang family, why would the Jiang family have stooped to deal with the Yang family? Even without me, your Yang family did so many unconscionable things. You wouldn't have lasted long anyway. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Yang Yuting grabbed Jiang Yihan's neck with one hand, provoked by Jiang Yihan's words. Her expression became crazed. Jiang Yihan was choked until his face turned red, unable to breathe. He unconsciously fumbled for something, raised his hand, and smashed it forcefully against Yang Yuting's temple. A thick stream of fresh blood trickled down from Yang Yuting's forehead. The former C-list pretty boy Jiang Yihan assaulted someone, leaving the fallen rich girl Yang Yuting unconscious, to avoid being strangled to death. Jiang Yihan picked up an ashtray and smashed it hard on Yang Yuting's head to save himself. Mrs. Yang came home from shopping, saw her daughter with her face covered in blood, lying unconscious on the floor, and immediately called the police. Jiang Yihan was arrested by the police for intentional assault. Yang Yuting is still in a coma to this day. Recently, the case of a wife beating a mistress has been very hot. Jiang Yihan was one of the male protagonists, so he quickly made the front page. Otherwise, for a washed-up actor like Jiang Yihan, it's unlikely he could have gotten on the hot search again. Yang Siqi, after the collapse of the Yang family group, changed her name back to Yang Siqi. She was originally a business talent, started her own company, and had business dealings with the Jiang family group. I don't pay much attention to the male and female leads anymore. I heard about this from Yang Siqi. I slowly swiveled in my chair and said with a smile, "Then congratulations, Xiao Lu. Your great revenge has been achieved." After the Yang family went bankrupt, Mr. Yang's spirit completely collapsed, and he passed away not long after. Yang Yuting is now unconscious in a coma and might become a vegetable, lying in bed for the rest of her life. Yang Siqi hates the Yang family, so a result like this must be something she is very happy to see. Yang Siqi smiled, the feelings mutual. The Yang family started plotting against you more than 10 years ago, plotting for the Jiang family's assets. Yang Yuting was your fiancée. Yet during that time, she had an affair with Jiang Yihan and kept raising the banner of true love. For those two to have such an ending now, a drama of lovers turning into enemies, the great young master of the Jiang family must be quite pleased in his heart. I smiled, stood up, and shook hands with Yang Siqi. Indeed, the feelings mutual. Just at this moment, the door was opened from the outside. Gu Qingshui walked in. She saw the scene of me and Yang Siqi shaking hands, pursed her lips, and said nothing. But her crystal-like eyes darkened slightly. I calmly withdrew my hand. A handshake is just a formality in the business world. Seeing this, Yang Siqi hurriedly took her leave. Xiao Jiang has a visitor, so we'll see you next time. After saying that, she left. I sat behind the desk and beckoned to Gu Qingshui with my finger. Jie, come here. Even though she knew a handshake was just a formality, but seeing another woman shake my hand with her own eyes, Gu Qingshui still felt unhappy in her heart. Hearing what I said, Gu Qingshui pursed her lips and walked over. I pulled Gu Qingshui to sit down next to me, lifting her chin with my finger, carefully observing her expression, and said with a smile, "What's wrong? You seem unhappy," Gu Qingshui asked. "Who was that just now?" I explained, a business partner. Yang Siqi and I collaborated to overthrow the Yang family. The collaboration was quite pleasant, but it seems my goddess, my sweet baby, isn't very happy. I held Gu Qingshui's chin and kissed her lips. "All right, if you don't like it, I'll just stop associating with her from now on, okay? I'm just that kind of heartless person. For the person I hold in my heart, I'm willing to spoil them, to offer everything, even if they wanted the stars in the sky. I could even fight a battle with the 24-star constellation gods to pluck the stars for them. As for those not in my heart, I don't care who you are. Your name might not even leave a trace with me." Gu Qingshui coughed, her earlobes slightly red, her voice a whisper. "Actually, I'm not unhappy." Really?" I grinned at her. Gu Qingshui coughed silently and corrected herself. "A little." After a long moment, she slowly asked, "Jiang Chen, don't you think I'm making a fuss over nothing?" "Not at all," I said in the tone of a big boss. "With me, you have the right to make a fuss over nothing." Gu Qingshui silently raised her eyes, her crystal-like eyes shimmering with a brilliant light. Realizing her reaction was overly emotional, a faint blush appeared on Gu Qingshui's face. She shyly turned her face away and said softly, "In a little while, it'll be the day of my concert. Are you coming?" I smiled and replied, "Of course I'm going." The Top Idols concert was held at the largest stadium in Land City. The stadium could hold over 10,000 people. Gu Qingshui had specifically asked the organizers to reserve a ticket in the best seat. That night, I received the cheering merchandise at the entrance. I held a support sign that said, "Jie, marry me today," and sat in the front row of the concert. All around were the screams and cheers of the fans, along with the music, and my girl was standing on the stage, radiating a brilliant halo. I curled my lips into a smile. The Gu Qingshui in front of me is a sweet little girl, pure and shy, but her beauty and coolness as an idol on stage, this was the first time I had seen it. The concert's excitement reached its peak. The music felt like it was about to blow the roof off the stadium. As the 2-hour concert was about to end, the style of the fast-paced song suddenly changed to a melodious and gentle piano piece. The girl sat down at the piano, every gesture exuding nobility and elegance. The piano piece was called For Elise. The audience fell silent. The eyes of everyone in the stadium were fixed on the girl at the piano. She was the focal point of the light. I enjoyed it along with the fans. The final piano piece of the concert. A long time later, the music ended, but the audience remained. The fans cheered, waving the support signs and light sticks in their hands, shouting their idol's name. Gu Qingshui raised a finger, placed it on her lips, and gestured for silence. "Shh! The entire stadium fell silent within 3 seconds. The girl stood up from the piano, her clear voice from the pinned microphone on her collar was transmitted, reverberating throughout the concert stage. Thank you all for coming to my concert today. I once fell into an abyss, all alone, unable to see the sunlight. Before, I never thought there would be a day I could stand on stage with such a brilliant halo. After speaking, Gu Qingshui politely bowed in all 4 directions. Serious and solemn, the already excited fans, upon seeing this, one by one, covered their mouths and cried silently. They once believed the rumors and left her, shattering her halo with their own hands. From now on, they only wish not to come for fame when you are glorious, nor turn their backs and leave when you are at the bottom of the abyss. It's unknown who started it, but then many people began to chant in unison, "We won't come for fame when you are glorious. We won't turn our backs when you are at the bottom of the abyss." After a long while, waiting for the roaring crowd to quiet down, Gu Qingshui continued to speak slowly. Here today, there is one person I want to thank the most. He was the one who gave me light in the darkness, so that I was no longer alone. He was the one who hoped I would shine brightly, standing in a place of myriad glories, which is why I had the courage to stand on this stage again. My expression shifted slightly. Is this? The next second, in the darkness of the entire stadium, a beam of hazy white light, like moonlight, shone down on me. When the spotlight shone on me, the on-site camera lenses also turned towards me, so the giant screens on the concert stage also showed my face and figure. Many fans were extremely surprised. Who is this guy? He's so handsome. Could he be the person that Jieji said she wanted to thank the most? Gu Qingshui stood on the stage, across the sea of people and brilliant lights, looking in this direction with a tender gaze. Her clear but gentle voice spoke, "Jiang Chen, you are the person I am most grateful for in this life, the one I like the most, and the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. I have always been thinking about how to plan a truly grand and solemn marriage proposal, so as not to embarrass you. After much thought, I set it for today, because I want to share my glory with you." If it were any other top celebrity in the entertainment industry, publicly announcing their relationship at a concert, or even proposing publicly, they would definitely face fierce backlash from fans. But Gu Qingshui is different because for today's proposal, she has been preparing for a very long time, starting from the moment of her comeback, even if the fans can't accept it and leave her en masse. If you feel the same way I do, can you walk towards me? She came to my side, paused for a moment, the girl curled her lips and gave a soft, small smile. If you feel it's too sudden, it's okay if you can't respond right away. In short, I've set my heart on you for this lifetime, proposing 100 times. As long as there's just one time that you walk towards me, I will feel that this life is enough. The unexpected proposal was also a shock to the fans. But as people who had abandoned their idol when she was at rock bottom, leaving her alone in the abyss, letting her walk alone in the darkness for so long, they seemed to have no grounds to object to. The person who had saved their idol, so the fans cheered, say yes, a top idol, proposing to her boyfriend during her concert, with the fans even helping with the proposal. This was probably a one-of-a-kind event in the entertainment industry. I smirked, and stood up gracefully under everyone's attention, seeing my action. The tense crystal-like eyes of Gu Qingshui on stage, lit up with a brilliant glow. The fans all voluntarily made way for me. Amidst the blessings and gazes, I finally walked to Gu Qingshui's side. I extended a hand towards her. Below the stage, the manager excitedly rubbed his hands, his excited tone commanding the lighting director and props master. Yes, the proposal operation is a success, lighting director. Give Qingshui and the young master some more brilliant light props, master. Where are the flower petals? Where are the petals? Get it all ready for me. For my artist to be able to capture the young master, her heart's wish fulfilled, her life complete. The manager was also happy for them, unable to hold back tears. Gu Qingshui's comeback concert, which was prepared for nearly a year, has come to a close. Backstage, Gu Qingshui held my hand as we walked through the corridor to the dressing room. As soon as the door closed, Gu Qingshui held my face and hurriedly kissed me. I was met with Gu Qingshui's rare enthusiasm. The next day, the front pages of Land City's entertainment newspapers were all filled with news of Gu Qingshui's proposal to her mysterious boyfriend, which was successful at last night's concert. The resourceful netizens even managed to dig up the identity of the top idol's proposal target. Although more than 10 years ago I was very well protected by Mr. Jiang, so that not even the so-called omnipotent Baidu had a single photo of the young master of the Jiang family, the #1 wealthy clan in Lan City. But after I became the CEO of Huangtian Entertainment, it was considered my official public debut. So as long as one was determined, digging up my identity wasn't a difficult task. There were mixed opinions online. All major media outlets reported on this matter. For a time, the story of the young master and the entertainment idol dating and possibly getting married later dominated the front pages of business and entertainment newspapers. Yang Yuting woke up from her coma. Out of critical condition, Jiang Yihan was in custody. On the grounds that injuring Yang Yuting was in self-defense, he was acquitted and released. Jiang Yihan had just gotten out of jail, walking on the street, when he heard a few young men discussing, "Did you guys go to Gu Qingshui's concert last night?" Of course, Gu Qingshui proposed to her boyfriend. I heard this proposal was planned for a long time. So romantic. Even though I don't want Gigi to have a boyfriend, but she finally found a man she likes. As long as she's happy, we should support her. Besides, the young master of the Jiang family is a perfect match for Jia Jie. Not only that, I was worried that the Jiang family is the richest in Lan City. This family is too wealthy that she wouldn't be able to marry into it. Jiang Yihan's hair was disheveled, his face pale. He stepped up to block the young men and asked frantically, "What did you say? Which Jia Jie? The young master of the Jiang family? Who is the Jia Jie you're talking about?" One of the young men saw Jiang Yihan's strange expression. A little scared, he pulled back his hand that was being gripped painfully by Jiang Yihan and replied with a dissatisfied tone, "Are you living under a rock? How many Jijis could there be? Of course, it's Gu Qingshui, the young master of the Jiang family." So what Yang Yuting said was true. Jiang Yihan's face was dazed. The young men were worried. They glanced at Jiang Yihan, muttered psycho under their breath, and hurriedly left, leaving Jiang Yihan alone on the spot, muttering, Why? Why is it like this? Why does everything belong to Jiang Chen? Even Gu Qingshui, Yang Yuting had woken up, but her mental state seemed abnormal. She didn't remember Jiang Yihan, didn't remember the Yang family going bankrupt, and didn't remember being hit on the head. Her brain was scrambled, so scrambled that she thought she and I were childhood sweethearts. That the person she'd liked since she was young was me, saying that she would marry me as soon as we graduated, so much so that when Yang Yuting saw on TV the scene of me and Gu Qingshui together, she went a little crazy. Her mouth wouldn't stop screaming, "Jiang Chen is mine. Jiang Chen, he is mine. He can't marry someone else. Jiang Chen, I was wrong. I shouldn't have gotten involved with that bastard Jiang Yihan. I was wrong. The one I like is you. I shouldn't have treated you like that, Jiang Chen. Please forgive me." In the end, Yang Yuting had to be committed to a mental hospital, suffering the exact same fate as me in my previous life. I guess you could say justice was served. What goes around comes around. The Jiang family mansion. Gu Qingshui and I went to formally visit Grandpa Jiang. The young lady was feeling tense, even more nervous than the first time she stepped on stage. Very soon after, Grandpa Jiang came out. Grandpa Jiang was upset that his grandson had a girlfriend and kept it from him, and that he was the last one to find out, so he was very unhappy. But after meeting Gu Qingshui, Grandpa Jiang was quite satisfied. Perhaps Gu Qingshui wasn't like Yang Yuting, who since childhood was a child favored by heaven, with the glorious family background of a wealthy heiress. But there was one thing where Yang Yuting could never compare to the girl in front of him, and that was her genuine love and protectiveness for his grandson. The Jiang family was already the wealthiest family in Lanthan, the #1 prestigious family. They didn't need to sacrifice the happiness of the next generation for a marriage alliance with anyone. He, Jiang Hongtao, only had this one grandson. In the end, all he hoped was that his grandson would live a peaceful and happy life.